Well, a lot of questions about the McKinney North Bulldogs from last year. They graduate a lot of seniors. Lots of questions. Well, they come out 2-0. They beat R.L. Turner in week 1, and they beat Denton last week. But tonight, a tougher opponent. The Forney Jackrabbits come in with a 1-1 record, and they are much improved over last year, where McKinney North won handedly 38-17. But this year, it's going to be a bigger test for McKinney North. Good evening, everyone. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms, Jay Lindley, Rob Johnson, and John Leidy down on the sidelines. A big crew for you tonight, a big game. It is homecoming at Ron Post Stadium for McKinney North, Brandon.
Yeah, and you're talking about the test, if you will, that the Bulldogs have faced. And this is something that Coach Sean Pratt, I've noticed, likes to do with his non-district schedule. He'll make each team progressively just a little bit tougher. Started with a 5A team, but let's be honest, not one of the best 5A teams. How's that? So you're fairly low in the rankings, pretty good. Denton, not a good team in 4A, but I would suggest they're probably a little bit tougher than R.L. Turner. They're coming out now with Forney, who's I'm definitely going to tell you is going to be the best team they faced so far. And also, Forney's improved over last year. So, I mean, it progressively gets tougher. Not a lot of answers in terms of how will they do against a Highland Park-type team have been answered, but it's definitely safe to say that these players on the North Bulldog squad, both offense and defense, still have big playmaking ability.
Also, this could be a landmark game in McKinney North history as they are approaching the 500 mark for the first time in a while. Actually, they did reach it last year, but never went over that 500 mark. That was the first time they'd even been to the 500 mark. With a win tonight, they can improve their record overall as a program to 28-28, and that obviously is Sean Pratt's record as well, as he's been with the program since day one.
Well, and of course, we broke down the numbers and realized that it was the absence of John Leidy that allowed him to start escalating and moving to the next level.
What do we say, 7-13 with John Leidy?
Love you, John.
And also, since we've talked to you, we did McKinney High last week, so we didn't get a chance to talk to you about David Douglas a whole lot. But David Douglas did surpass Colin Beto last week for the all-time receiving record in McKinney North. Beto held the record at 1,684 yards. Douglas now stands at 1,799 with last week's 184-yard performance and 4 touchdowns to go along with that. And he now also is the touchdown here at McKinney 18, passing Blake Mooney, who had 15 a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty tremendous kid, and the great thing to see about that is he put up the same kind of numbers as he did last year with a different quarterback. And obviously, you lose Eric Erbel. Not only you lose a good quarterback, but you also lose the timing there. And that, I mean, there's no stat that can measure timing. And so it's great to see David pick that right up with the next quarterback.
Well, we mentioned it's homecoming, and this is a place that McKinney North has loved to play at over the past several years. McKinney North has won 14 out of 15 here at Ron Post Stadium, including 14 in a row from November 5th, 04 through October 27th of last year. Frisco actually snapped the streak last season with a 21-17 loss in November. Overall, McKinney North is 19-9 here at Ron Post Stadium, formerly known as MISD Stadium.
Yeah, it's just an amazing record. I mean, especially considering the fact this is not a very old program by any stretch, and the fact that they have that kind of winning record at home, despite playing seasons where they, quite frankly, didn't win a whole lot of games. It's pretty impressive.
Well, we're going to take a timeout. We've got the Coaches Show and Senior Spotlight coming up next. Don't go anywhere. It's McKinney North against Forney at Ron Post Stadium in McKinney. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Well, it is football time in Texas, or just about anyway. McKinney North has their tunnel out, the big bulldog head, and it is displayed on the field. The cheerleaders, the spirit run through are out on the field, but no sign of the Bulldogs yet. Like I said, we were mentioning earlier in the pregame show that this is going to be a lot better contest for McKinney North than what they've seen the first 2 weeks of the season, Brandon.
Yeah, if you take a look at the Forney Jackrabbits, last year was obviously a young team. We talked about that in depth last year. You look at the roster, you've got a lot more senior starters. You've got a lot more junior starters in comparison who have a little bit of experience. So this is definitely not going to be a pushover that it was last year, because if you remember, it was a big margin early. And then at that point, it kind of slowed down a little bit, and Forney got a couple late scores. I don't expect it to be that out of whack this year.
Let's talk down to John Leidy and see what he's got down on the sidelines with us tonight. John, go ahead.
Well, guys, Monty, you mentioned about not seeing the Bulldogs down here. I talked to Coach Pratt this morning. He said that he wanted this squad, since there's a lot of new players, he had a lot of talk to him about not being on cloud nine after having the 2 blowouts for the previous weeks, and he wanted to get his last words in all the way to game time. Also, tonight's weather is pretty cool tonight. It's as we get more into the fall, the sun is actually being blocked out by the visitor side stands. So we're looking for a pretty cool. I don't look to see very many cramps happening tonight. And back up to y'all.
All right, John. We also, this is the first time that I can think of that there are no flags in the end zone. There are no flags, and I don't know. We might send John down there to find out, hey, where are the flags? We don't. What are we going to do for the national anthem here?
Well, it looks like there's some people posted at the base, and so they may do a national anthem and raise the flag too, although maybe John has a little bit more than speculative info.
And we'll ask John what he's got. John?
The flags are actually down right now. They're the Boy Scouts, they raise them up during the national anthem. They raise the American flag at first, and then once the American flag's up and the song has proceeded, then they raise the remaining flags just out of respect. Back up to y'all.
Well, that guy right there is an amazing sideline person. Let me tell you, what a sideline guy that is.
Well, and we knew there was a reason we kept him around. He, definitely a good guy and definitely fun to be with, but he's also informative.
I tell you what, that Mr. John Leidy's come a long way in 12 months, hasn't he?
Absolutely, yeah. Pleasure to have him aboard.
Well, Forney comes in. Forney's one of these teams with a long winning tradition, a deep history in winning. And the Jackrabbits from Kaufman County are 517, 298, and 20 as a program. That's 490 more wins than McKinney North.
That's close to McKinney.
It's very close.
And
yeah.
It's a lot easier to do that when you were the first in primary high school, like Forney was, like McKinney was. Let's kind of not kid around there. Those are some relatively older schools, older cities, if you will. Whereas North, came around when the population started growing up here in McKinney.
Well, we're talking about a program that's been around, like you said, for a long time and has a deep winning history. And even recently, when they were in Class 5A in 2003, they were 11-2. In 01 and 02, they were 12-2. In 01, they were 11-1. In 2000, they were 11-5. In 99, they were 10-1. In 98, they were 7-3, 7-4, 8-3, 11-1, 9-3. You have to go back to 1993 when they had a losing record at 4-5-1. So this has been a pretty dominating program over the years, but they've kind of tailed off over the past several. Last year going 5-5, the year before that 3-7, and in 04 they went 3-7. So this is a deep, rich winning program that hasn't won for the past 3 years.
Well, and it's funny you mentioned that because that almost coincides with the district within which they entered. Hey, they play Highland Park. You almost count that as a loss every year, almost.
Yeah, that makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when your competition just gets a little bit tougher, all of a sudden your record's going to get a little bit shorter on the wins and a little bit longer on the losses.
One of the big returners for Forney is the running back, Peter Smith. We'll be talking about him all night long. He is the leading rusher in the area in Class 4A with 48 carries, 397 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Now, is that a little skewed because of last week? 301 yards rushing versus Frisco Centennial last week. So maybe that's a little skewed, but we do know, we saw him last year, and he is real good. I mean, he's a quick cat that can really scoot through the hole.
Well, he scored 7 touchdowns all of last season. He's already put up 7 in 2 games, 8 if you count a kick return for a touchdown. He is the leading scorer here in North Texas in Class 4A. And Peter Smith, we talked a lot about a test. This is going to be a test tonight for the McKinney North Bulldogs. It is going to be a big test for their defense. Their defense comes into tonight giving up 94.5 yards per game on the ground. Peter Smith, last week, 301 yards. So the game tonight for McKinney North is stop Peter Smith.
Something's got to give there, right?
One way or the other.
And McKinney North has given up only 13 points in their first 2 games combined, 13 points for the 2 games. They average 46 to 13 per 36 to 6 actually per contest. So McKinney North has been very dominant, but you expect they would against those programs that they played. Nothing against R.L. Turner, but they're just not very good. Nothing, nothing against Denton, but they're just not very good. But we've got a team here tonight in Forney that is pretty good.
Well, and likewise for Forney, this is a test for them. I mean, let's be honest. They played White House decent, but not a great program. They lost 32-24. Then last week handled Frisco Centennial 43-14. So there you go. For Forney, it's as big of a game for Forney as it is for McKinney North.
Well, and that's one of the things, too, that's kind of surprising because Frisco Centennial was picked to be near the top at 9-4A. And
as long as Mastikowski is still throwing the ball at Frisco Centennial, I'm going to keep them up there.
Well, I mean, sooner or later, when you can't get your high handed to you like that and keep it up there. He's a great kid. There's 10 other guys in that offense and other ways. I don't know, but Frisco Centennial's a long way off, and, you can drop a dud in non-district, and it doesn't really matter.
Well, for the 3rd game in a row, bad news for McKinney North as Colton Duncan comes out onto the field in street clothes. He will not suit out tonight and obviously will not play. So Robert Stevens, the junior right guard, will replace him on offense. The captains are on the field. Out front is David Douglas and Fruit Cole, along with Mike Scott and Colton Floyd. And the Forney Jackrabbits are making their way on the field, not in any kind of a hurry at all, as they just kind of walk out. They do have the sign that they will be running through that says, take the dogs to the, what does that say?
Pound. Yeah.
Take the dogs to the pound.
Real quick, Monty, on Colton Duncan, just to kind of put it in perspective, what the Bulldogs are missing with him out of the lineup, 4 inches in height and 65 pounds at that right guard position.
Well, the captains are making their way to the middle of the field. We'll take it down to John Leidy for the coin toss.
Hey, what's up? What's up, man? Hey,
Captains and Bulldogs tonight, Charles Cole, David Douglas, Mike Scott.
all right, gentlemen, I'm Steve Smith. That's Lee Smith. You're the visiting team. You get to call the toss tonight.
Sir.
All right, that's the head. There's the tail. You call it first. We'll agree on what he says.
Sir.
Then I'll toss it. If I drop it, we'll do it again.
Yes, sir.
Any questions about anything?
No, sir.
All right, go ahead and call it.
Tails.
He said tails, correct? It is heads. Blue, you won the toss. It's your option.
First, second half, sir.
You want to defer to the second half. We
Yes,
can
sir.
do that.
You take the ball.
You want the ball.
Yes, sir.
Which end do you want to kick from?
Kick from this end, facing that way.
You got it. Turn your backs that way. White, you turn around this way. And let me give these signals.
All right, that is the coin toss at the middle of the field. McKinney North won the toss. They elected to defer. That was Colton Floyd, who was giving the signal there to Steve Smith, the referee, that they wanted to defer to the second half, and they will line up with their backs facing the south. So McKinney North will be moving from left to right, and Forney will have the ball first as they will receive moving right to left with their backs facing that north end zone.
And I got to say, give credit to the referee Smith. That was a very thorough job. And, a lot of times the coin toss gets overlooked. But, that is one of the most important parts of the game. He was very thorough.
Well, we're going to take a quick timeout before the national anthem gets underway and they raise those flags. We'll be back in a moment with McKinney North football as they face off against Forney here in just a few minutes on 97.5 KLAK. Both teams are on the field. We have yet to have the national anthem yet. We will do so in just a few moments. I would say that's the choir, and it is the choir. The McKinney North Choir will be performing our national anthem tonight, and we'll get a listen to that here in just a few moments when they start up as they're on the track. And we want to say thanks real quick to Mary Foyt. Mary brought us all kinds of food tonight, and we thought for one moment that we weren't going to have anything, but Mary did a great job of bringing us all kinds of stuff. So thanks, Mary Foyt. You might know her being the athletic secretary in McKinney, but she did a great job of bringing us all kinds of stuff.
Absolutely.
2 words, good people.
Good people. Good
Yeah,
people.
absolutely, yeah.
And you might remember Jared from last year was our spotter. Well, this is Jared's mom.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I had a feeling the Foyts were somehow connected.
Here we go. Here's our national anthem. Just as John Leidy predicted, the flag is now atop the flagpole at the north end zone.
Did he predict or did he know?
Well, I'm sorry?
Did he predict or did he know?
Oh, yeah.
Regular Nostradamus down there on the sidelines.
John Leidy is in the know, let me tell you. He knows what's going on down there. Hey, I want to tell you real quick. Last night I brought my 15-month-old up here, and it was literally, I think, the first time I'd sat outside at a football game in 14 or 15 years. It was tremendous, the atmosphere here for McKinney Boyd as they had their first victory last night as a program, moved to 1-11. But hey, there was lots of celebration here tonight.
You got to start somewhere.
They knocked off Denton 31-6. But I was going to say, when we were here, me and Malin went down in the seats, and we were sitting down, and around us was a mom and her little girl, probably about 8 years old. And it just struck me because normally you hear dads talking to their sons about football and explaining the game, and you've got 4 downs to go 10 yards and this and that. And this mom was explaining the game to her daughter just like a dad would to a son, and I thought, man, that is great. You go to a high school football game, and being up here in the broadcast booth, you forget about things like that, just the atmosphere and the ambiance.
And honestly, seeing both sides of the river, that's football in Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, in all honesty, it is a completely different atmosphere down here.
It was absolutely wonderful last night just to go out and sit in the stands on a Friday night and hear the band, the
Thursday.
cheerleaders, the drill team, or a Thursday night.
It's still the same atmosphere.
It was tremendous.
Still a Friday night atmosphere.
And you forget, being up here every Friday, you forget about, how cool it is to be down on the field and in the stands.
I can't remember the last time I was, now that you mention it.
Well, the teams are on the field, and it'll be Stephen Meyer teeing it up. Moving left to right, McKinney North. The ball is up in the air. It's going to be taken. The 5-yard line goes in and out of the hands of the returner, who brings it up near side, up to the middle of the field. Now escapes out of a tackle, up to the 15, up to the 20. One man to beat, and he's tackled by Stephen Meyer, the kicker, at the 21-yard line. And on the return was Chad Lowry for Forney. So not really great field position. It sounded like it was better than it probably is. They only have the ball at the 22-yard line. A lot of east-west running there.
Well, and the thing that happened was when he bobbled it, it was roughly at the 10-yard line. He had to retreat, picked it up around the 3 or 2. When you have to go backwards, that allows the return team time to get down to the field. And so he made some lot of nifty moves. I mean, give him some credit. Chad Lowry was able to make his offense start at the 22 instead of the 3 with some nifty moves down inside the 10.
Landon Hartwick will be the quarterback for Forney, moving right to left. Hartwick, 6'3", 230 pounds, a big quarterback, and he runs the keeper here. Up the middle, and there's a flag down on the play, but after a 9-yard run, it looks like this one's coming back. We're going to give you the Bulldog the Bulldog defense right after this play as they bring this one back.
Well, and that quarterback is almost big enough to me, it looks like, to see kind of be a fullback.
Yeah, he's pretty big. Let's go across the board for Forney real quick. Up front, left tackle Zach Toops, Colton Ledbetter, Taylor Gideon, Ezra Robertson, and Alex Dennis up front. The quarterback, as we said, Landon Hartwick. The running back, Peter Smith. The fullback, Brandon McCarr. The wideouts, Chad Lowry and Chris Arterberry, and Tyler McElveen.
Real quick, Monty, it was the McKinney offsides. Forney declined at 1st and 10.
1st and 10 for Forney, moving right to left. Shotgun formation for Hartwick as he has 2 men in the backfield. He's going to hand off Smith. Running left side, trapped in the backfield and down at the line of scrimmage. It is going to be Zach Gagnon on the stop, 6 foot, 225-pound senior. And here is the Bulldog defense.
Sam Kamani, DN. Zach Gagnon, defense tackle. Tex, nose guard. Jace Boyd, defensive end. Roddy Nuss, inside linebacker. Colton Floyd, inside linebacker. Kyle Dancy, defensive. Ice Scott, DB. Chris Williams, safety. Marquise Moore, Tim, safety.
2nd down and 11 after a 1-yard loss. After Gagnon made that great stop on Peter Smith. Shotgun, rolling out right as Hartwick, hit as he throws, and it's way overthrown. Trying to hit his receiver Atterbury out there, and Kyle Dancy in coverage. Atterbury, I believe, had a step on Dancy, but that ball was way overthrown.
Well, and it looked like just at first glance that he might have been hit as he threw, but his feet were already in the throwing position. His arm was already forward, and I don't think the pass was too much affected by the hit. I think what happened is the quarterback was expecting more of a flag or an out, and instead the receiver ran a post.
3rd down and 11, 10:48 left to go in the first, just underway. No score here at Ron Post Stadium in McKinney. Shotgun for Hartwick with 2 backs to either side of him, 2 receivers to the left side. Under pressure, and hit and sacked in the backfield. There is flags right where Hartwick was sacked. Zach Gagnon again on the stop. That could be a face mask. We'll have to check and see.
That's what my first indication is, because there wasn't any illegal type hit. It wasn't to the head or anything like that. Personal foul, face mask. Exactly right. Oh, what a killer.
Oh, that is a big one. What would have been 4th down and about 14 or 15 will now be a 1st down for Forney.
Well, the thing that's frustrating is sometimes the only way that the play is made, for example, is if you commit a penalty. Pass interference, for example, may allow you to get an interception. In this case, the sack was going to happen with or without the face mask. So that's the killer, is you give them a fresh set of downs.
And they will. McKinney North will. It'll be 1st and 10 for Forney, moving right to left. Hartwick in shotgun formation. 2 receivers to this side, Lowry and McElveen. On the near side, there's whistles blowing before this one couldn't get underway. And it's a false start against Forney. So now it'll be 1st and 15.
Well, you giveth and you taketh away.
Very sloppy, early going. 10:26, no score at Ron Poe. And Forney, in their first possession, not doing a whole lot. Well, they actually moving backwards. They haven't had a positive play, have they?
The first play of the game.
Yeah, one play.
2 penalties, and another one's been declined so far.
2 receivers to either side, 1 man in the backfield. Hartwick, handoff. Smith, big hole up the middle. Look out to the 50, down to the 45-yard line. It's going to be Chris Williams making the stop, and that was a big stop after 9 yards, but that one could have easily gone 20, 30, or even to the house.
Yeah, there was one person behind Chris Williams, and he was being blocked. I mean, that's how really big that play was, that tackle. That is a cause for concern. You gave up 14 yards on a 1st and 15. I mean, that was a hole big enough to drive a Mack truck through.
2nd down and 2, a short 2. Shotgun, handoff Peter Smith up the middle once again, dancing his way down to the 41-yard line. They'll mark him actually at the 40, and Colt 45 makes the stop. Colt, a 6 foot, 225-pound senior, 3-year starter.
Well, you can see why Smith has been so good this season. Man, that kid is limber. He's bouncing all over the place. And right now, the McKinney North defense, they're having trouble getting a lock on him.
Just to give you the picture here, sorry.
No worries.
Just to give you the picture here, McKinney North in their navy dark blue uniforms with the orange helmets, the navy pants, the navy shirts, while Forney is black and gold. They have their white shirts, white pants, black helmets, black numerals outlined in gold. Here's Peter Smith up the middle once again. Big hole and about a 10-yard gain again down to the 31-yard line. Call it a 9-yard gain, and Terrence Hicks makes the stop, Brandon.
Well, and what I was going to say last play applies to this play too, missed tackles. I mean, you had the chance to get him at the line of scrimmage there. This time only one person missed him, but the last play 3 people had a chance to get him. And all of a sudden what you're doing is you're taking what should be a 2nd and 10, 2nd and 9, and now it's a 2nd and a short 1. I mean, you don't even have to get half a yard to get the first, and you can't do that as a defense.
8:27, and we said this would be a bigger challenge for McKinney North coming in. This is a better team than Denton and a better team than R.L. Turner, and they're showing it right here. And we'll check down with John Leidy in just one moment. It is on 2nd and short. And here's shotgun for Hartwick. He's going to fake the hand, roll out left side. He's got all kinds of room. Oh, he stiff arms a man at the 27 and keeps going down to the 21-yard line. And, man, Hartwick shows all of his 6'3", 230 pounds as he took Mike Scott and basically threw him down.
I've never seen a quarterback do that.
Unbelievable. We said we'd check down with John Leidy. Let's go ahead and do that right now. John?
And, guys, actually the last McKinney North game that we covered, the defense was started off in the first half, what we call arm tackling, not putting their helmet to the running back's chest. They're starting this game off again, and you got to think that the defensive coaches are going to pinpoint that when they come off the field. Back up to y'all.
All right, John Leidy. 8:03 left to go in the first quarter. No score, but Forney making a push, and you hate that face mask call now as they run all the way down the field. Oh, and he hands off to Peter Smith, and he's met at the line of scrimmage by the linebacker Rodney Nelson, 5'6", 185, stuck him right at the line of scrimmage.
Of course, we can talk about missed tackles all we want to, and a lot of the reasons there's been some missed tackles is because the defense is out of position, having to at best put their arm out. And, a good runner can run through that. That time, great position by the defensive line. There wasn't a hole that allowed the blitzing linebacker to come, or probably not blitzing, probably just read the play, and squarely wrap his helmet in his arms around him, putting him down to the ground.
7:29 and rolling in the first. 2nd down and 10 for Forney, moving right to left. 2 receivers to the left and the right. Hartwick in the backfield. Throws a screen pass, and it's short and incomplete. He just underthrew his receiver on a screen. It's the outside receiver, Atterbury. He basically just came inside behind the line of scrimmage and waited for that screen pass, and Hartwick just underthrew it.
Yeah, the quarterback, Landon Hartwick, reminds me of somebody, and I finally figured out who it was. There's a tight end for Oklahoma named Joe John Finley, and back when I was covering Arlington ISD, he was a quarterback at the Arlington High School, and a very big physical guy who basically ran an option-type offense, and he reminds me a lot of big, strong, and maybe not the best arm.
Big play here. 3rd down and 10 for Forney. 7:17 in the first. No score. Handoff. Peter Smith, and rumbles his way, bounces off a couple of tacklers down to the 17-yard line. Not anywhere near a first down, but it probably is in field goal position here at the 17-yard line as Jace Boyd makes the stop for McKinney North.
Well, and it's all dependent on how good the kicker's leg is, but I'm going to let you know, it seems that Forney is running a similar play, a quarterback option, either keeps it to Smith, or gives it to Smith, or Hartwick keeps it and runs around option. I mean, it's basically the same play over and over, just to a different side.
Tucker Burke is the kicker, but he's not in the game. They're going forward on 4th and 6. 6:39 left to go first quarter. No score. Handoff. Peter Smith. No, Hartwick wants to throw. Drops back. Looks left side. In coverage and incomplete in the end zone.
Yeah, the nice job there on defense coming from Chris Williams. He turned around, and when he turned around, the receiver was trying to still run into him. And what Williams did was not interfere with his pattern as much as he was looking back at the ball. If the receiver can make contact with you, or you can make contact with the receiver, rather, if you're keeping your eyes on the ball and not purposefully getting in his way to essentially make the pass incomplete. So nice job by Williams and essentially running interference legally.
Brandon McCarr was the intended receiver, the 5'11", 185-pound. Well, he's kind of he's listed as a fullback, but he also is kind of a slot receiver. So 6:31 left to go. McKinney North will take over for the first time, moving left to right. This is a handoff to Fruit Cole and a reverse. David Douglas wants to throw it down the field. Wide open is Matthews, and he undershoots him at the 38-yard line. Now, Douglas was hit as he threw the ball, but I'm telling you, that was one of, first down, first play of the game. What a call.
Well, and it's a unique play, too. I mean, I haven't seen one designed just like that one. it started off as a handoff coming around the side to Fruit, who basically pitched it to David, who threw across the field. I really like it.
2nd down and 10. Stanko in at quarterback will give you the Bulldog offense right after this play. Oh, a high snap, and it goes right through Stanko's hands. He has to fall on it in the end zone. That's going to be a safety. We'll give you the offense later on when they get the ball. Here, just, whew, that's not a good way to start. Down 2-0.
Well, you wonder what happens. I mean, you can understand it if a team's that has their quarterback under center most of the time, and then they go into shotgun, how that could be a misstep. But that's their formation. That's their stance.
And Taylor Douthit is a 3-year starter on offense at center, so it's not automatic.
Stuff happens. I mean, let's admit that. But the last play too, there was kind of a missed snap. Although I think that was more on Stanko's end.
Let's try to get down with John Leidy on the sidelines and see what he has to say. John, was there any issue with the Taylor Douthit not being in there or something like that? Talk to us.
Coming off the field, he said to his other players, "I'm sorry, guys. I was prematurely thinking about the block without focusing on the snap first. Back up to y'all."
All right, John. Thank you very much. And, I assume that's probably what the issue was. Something like that. He's been there for a long time. He's been snapping the ball. How many times has Taylor Douthit snapped the ball in shotgun formation?
Well, and the thing is, it happens.
Thousands?
Yeah. And it happens. How many times might David Douglas catch a ball, and then one day he's thinking more about running upfield and saying, pick the position, you can find a similar situation. I guarantee you he's not going to do it again.
Yeah, it would, well, you never know. Some of those things can get in your head. The Chuck Knobloch thing where you throw the ball from second base to first.
Taylor.
Yeah, you hope not. Some of those things can get mentally in your mind, and you can't get rid of them. Rick Ankill.
Right, but those are more the prissy, if you will, position. An offensive lineman's going to be like, my bad, guys, let me go out and do it again. They're more tougher.
Yep.
For whatever reason, they're how often do you see a TO similar personality on the offensive line?
Right.
You don't. It's just their mentality.
Well, the kid's done it one time. Let's wait and give him a chance to see if he ever does it again.
Let him redeem himself, boys.
He's only done it one time that we can think of in 3 years, so we're okay. We're okay. Here's Meyer. He's kicking off from the 20, and it's going to be taken by Lauren from the 25, makes his way up, runs east-west again, up to the 40. 45, look out to the 50, down to the 45-yard line. A flag down, another flag down. That could be a late hit, as it was, I believe, Tony Brown, who might have hit him late out of bounds.
Well, the initial flag is definitely going to be a holding, and unfortunately I was looking at you trying to tell you it's going to be a holding. I didn't see the second flag come down. Teach me to give up on a play.
Yep.
But in this situation, what's likely to happen is you'll have offsetting penalties. And generally what happens with offsetting penalties is you redo the play. Sometimes it'll be from where the play ended.
It is a personal foul against McKinney North.
And then there was a block in the back on Forney. So,
well, the ball, Lowry had carried it up to about the 45-yard line in McKinney North territory. I think they say actually the 43.
And sometimes I forgot to mention this. What they'll do with the penalty is they'll mark both of them at the high school level. They'll start, okay, we'll do this one 5 yards back, this one now 15 yards forward.
Which is a lot of extra walking for the chain guys.
Yeah.
The scoreboard is not operating currently, so we'll see.
Except that you can learn more about Stephen F. Austin University.
Yeah, they do have that flashing across there.
They're probably so, I don't want to say flabbergasted, but, trying to figure out what's going on here. And
well, they're not used to having 2-0 up on the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's shorting out.
There it goes. Now we're back.
Next door at the baseball stadium, maybe.
Yeah, Al Alfred Stadium scoreboard's probably on right now and working perfectly. But it's 2-0, and the scoreboard's back on. 6:08 left to go in the first. And it was a snap that went through Stanko's hands. Actually, you know what? It wasn't as bad of a snap as what we mentioned. Stanko had a chance to bring it in, and it did go through his hands. So you have to give, partial credit or uncredit, I guess, to Stanko.
Well, and the thing is, if you can, in the receiving adage is if it touches your hands, you should catch it. Yeah, that applies too for center. I mean, he might have been more worried too about the pattern, where his receivers were going to be looking downfield. Who knows? It might have been a timing thing. The very first thing you always need to worry about, make sure you have control of the ball. You don't have control of the ball, obviously, as we saw there's no play.
The officials still sorting this one out, trying to figure out where they want to place the ball. Right now they have it at the 37-yard line in McKinney North territory. And we mentioned that David Douglas surpassed Colin Beto last week as the all-time leading receiver. That makes the leading passer, Eric Herbel, with 98.95 yards, and the rushing leader, Chase Barrett, with 3,088 yards, and David Douglas, the receiving leader, at 1,799. And what a team. When they were all three together, that's what they'll look back at and say, wow, what a team that must have been. And that was a great team who could have knocked off Highland Park last year.
I won't say should, but they definitely could have. I hate to do this, and you know that, but you got to give Highland Park credit for what they did. But the funny thing about that team, the defense was just as good.
They were good. They were really good. And now we're back underway as the referees spot the ball back to the 45-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 45. Hartwick wants to throw under pressure, throws off his back foot, and it is incomplete, and a flag on Chris Williams, who ran into the receiver. It was pretty good coverage until the ball was thrown short, and then the receiver had to come back for the ball and ran into Chris Williams.
Well, that's the thing. Chris didn't look back at the ball. He kept running forward. He saw the receiver look back. That's when he started to. But unfortunately, he didn't see the receiver coming up, and while he's not quite looking at the ball, he's running into the receiver.
That's almost incidental contact as well.
Well, but no, because you ran into him. I mean, you can't interfere with the receiver. Now, obviously, like I did a few plays before, there's ways to get around that. He was looking back at the ball, and the receiver and the defender have every right to the ball. But he wasn't doing anything but running into the receiver.
That wasn't like Benny Blades or anything.
No. I mean, but,
that's
interference, clearly.
That's 2 big penalties for 30 yards tonight against McKinney North.
6 minutes left to go in the first quarter. Forney on 1st and 10, moving right to left. 2-0. Forney in the lead. And Hartwick's going to keep it around the right corner, and he's stuffed right at the line of scrimmage. A nice play by the defensive end, Desmond Ehrlich. He's actually a tackle out there, but he was more towards the end. He came up and just stuffed him right at the line.
Sam Kamani, actually.
Oh, is it Sam Kamani?
Yeah. He was actually the one who came in on the play and made the initial stop. And let me tell you, stopping Hartwick's not an easy task, but he did a nice job. Had his feet set at the base, thrusted forward with the hips like you're supposed to do in a form tackle, and planted the helmet clearly in between the numbers. I mean, you can stop the best runners that way if you can make that kind of form tackle, and that's exactly what he did.
No logos on those black helmets. They're just solid black for Forney.
I like that. 2nd
down and 12 after the 2-yard loss. Sam Kamani. Here's a handoff. Peter Smith running right tackle. Being taken down after about a 5-yard gain is going to be Rodney Nelson on the stop from McKinney North. And we're under 5 minutes in the first. McKinney North trailing 2-0.
Well, slowly it looks like the defense is starting to adjust to the blocking patterns of the Jackrabbits. Right there, Nelson was clearly blocked, and so instead of fighting, he gave up a little ground, pushed the defender to the ground, then was able to converge there in on the runner, Smith. And what that allowed him to do was make only a 5-yard gain instead of a possible 8 or 10 in a tackle in the secondary.
3rd down and 8 for Forney. Hartwick in shotgun. Handoff, Peter Smith, running left tackle, runs into his own man, and that's going to create a big loss for Forney. He ran into, I believe it was Alex Dennis, the tackle over there, and Dennis just knocked him backwards a couple of feet. I mean, Terrence Hicks is going to get credit for the tackle, but his own man should get credit for that.
Well, yeah, what he was doing was blocking the end who started cutting inside, and Smith couldn't bounce it out and clearly ran into him, and that allowed the rest of the defense to kind of converge in.
4th down and 12, and Forney's going to go for it. 3:50 on the first quarter clock. Now he's going to quick kick it, and the left-footed kicker just boots it out, and it's going to be a great kick down inside the 10 at the 6-yard line. Nice quick kick there by Forney, and hey, if it works, it works.
Well, and that's the thing is, at this moment, it appears to us that Forney doesn't have a lot of faith in their kicking game. They didn't kick it, now they quick kicked it.
Well, last week, their kicker had 2 extra points blocked. So,
well, maybe not necessarily the kicker, but special teams. Again, it's a team game.
Well, you would think, at the 17-yard line, a normal 4A school would be able to, line up with a field goal and put 3 points on the board. They didn't. They went for it on 4th and 5 last series, and here they are, trying to punt it or quick kick it away here.
Well, and if you can't block it, you can't block it.
So here's McKinney North deep in their own territory once again at the 6-yard line. Shotgun, handoff, Fruit Cole running left tackle, and he's not going to get much, and then squirts through at about the 14-yard line. So Fruit Cole, nice second effort there. And Darnell Goldsby makes the stop for Forney. What a run by Fruit.
Yeah, it looked like it was supposed to go into the A gap between center and guard. Give credit to Forney. They were being blocked, but they didn't give up their ground. There really wasn't a hole. Luckily for the North, the line was getting its push.
2-0, McKinney North trailing here. Yeah, 2-0, you heard it. Second down and short. And 3:05 on the clock. Moving left to right, McKinney North, Stanko, shotgun, handoff. And that's Pitts. He runs up the middle. Nothing doing there, trying to make something happen. He does cross the 15 and is going to be just short of the first down because Preston Gable made the stop right at the 16.
Well, and you got to give credit to Pitts, too. I guarantee you, he was thinking, if I go backwards, I might be able to get around this guy. We saw him do that in our alternative, and he got dropped for some losses. This time around, he goes, oh, no, I better go ahead and go forward.
Remember the young man, A.J. Jones at McKinney Boyd? He made a run like that last night that was unbelievable. How he did the Tony Dorsett behind the line. And
that will drive a coach crazy, especially if he has success with it.
He does have success with it, let me tell you. Let's go down the field with John Lighty. I think John's got a report for us. Go ahead, John.
Guys, I'm noticing Forney is putting 4 down linemen, and their linebackers are sitting only at 3 yards deep. They're also putting their corners and safeties real close to the line. They're daring Vince Stanko to throw that ball. They're trying to get him to throw them, trying to keep Pitts and Cole from running the ball. Let's see what they can do. Back up to y'all.
All right, thanks a lot, John. They do.
Let them.
Man, you know what? That's one of those things where you force the run game to that's what a lot of teams I think will do is force the run to beat them. If you're McKinney North and you're going to beat us, you're going to do it with the run.
Well, let them.
Yeah.
I say.
2:21 left to go in the first. McKinney North down 2-0. Here's a handoff to Pitts up the middle. Not a whole lot doing. He has the first down, but there is a flag down at the line of scrimmage. Preston Gable makes the stop again.
Generally speaking, if there's a flag that's thrown at the start of the play and the whistle's not blown, it's usually offsides on the defense. And I think because the home side's cheering, then that's going to be the case. Yeah, they're moving the ball forward, definitely offsides.
And it takes it out to the 21-yard line. So, the offense, considering that they start at the 6-yard line, Brandon, this has been a fairly nice start. At least they're out of the end zone now.
Yeah, and it's this thing. If you give them a chance, they can put together a drive. You just can't let the ball sail over your head, and we haven't seen that yet. So
first down and 10 for McKinney North. Stanko, shotgun. Gets it. Handoff. Fruit Cole up the middle. Big hole for a moment. Look out to the 30. Down at the 35-yard line. Another first down and another big run by Fruit Cole. Darnell Goldsby makes a stop for Forney. Move those sticks.
Yeah, and just as much as they have the ability to stretch it 3 downs and get the first down, they have just as much ability to get the first down on first down. We saw great blocking up front by the front 5 of the linemen. A nice job by Fruit once he got into the secondary of picking some more holes and getting an extra 5-10 yards out of the deal.
Damon Pitts into the game at tailback, stands behind Stanko, and a little bit to the right. He gets the hand. Left tackle, big hole there. Makes a nice move and cuts it upfield to the 42-yard line. It'll be the safety, Kezi Camp, making the stop for Forney. 1:36 left to go in the first quarter. McKinney North trailing 2-0.
Well, if you remember, at least from our perspective, in the season opener, Pitts was kind of an unknown for us. I really like what I see. When he sees a hole, he doesn't hesitate. He exploded up into that thing, and that can add yards to your average.
A transfer over from Richardson is Damon Pitts, and here's a flag before this play can get underway. Again, 1:16 left to go in the first. Forney up 2-0.
In this case, it's going to depend on who moved first, but the way they're marching looks like it's on McKinney.
Jay and I did a game here 3 years ago between McKinney and Newman Smith.
As I say, just one.
Barn burner.
Yeah, I think the final score was 8-5.
8-5.
I'm hoping we get. Not likely. What I'd love to see here, and I almost hate to say this, is because they'll have to settle for a field goal, but have a halftime score of 3-2.
I think it was a 3-run homer by Brett Anderson that night. 1:06 left to go in the first. Stanko throws it, and it's almost caught, and it is.
Wow.
What a great catch by David Douglas at the 47-yard line. Tipped it up, fell down, and caught it on his way down. Wow.
I thought once he leaped up and it was just out of his grasp to catch it that it was going to be incomplete. Well, basically what he did is kind of a blocking basketball. Just knocked it straight up as he was falling down. He was on his backside. He was able to just grab the ball. Nice job, David Douglas. You know why he's the career yards reception leader.
Douglas is 6'1", but he plays like he's about 6'5" out there. Under a minute now, handoff. That's Damon Pitts. Tries to spin out of a tackle, but can't do it. Might even lose a yard on 1st and 10. It'll be 2nd and 11 now. Daniels Molick makes the stop, and we're at 35 seconds and rolling. 2-0. Forney leading over McKinney North. And Fruit Cole into the game now. No, that's going to be Josh Matthews, the sophomore, 5'10", 185-pound sophomore, who came into tonight with 13 carries, 96 yards, and 2 touches. And he's into the game at tailback now. Here's Stanko moving up in the pocket, wants to throw, fumbles. The ball's on the turf at the 45-yard line, and I think Forney has recovered. Stanko trying to move up in the pocket, was bringing the ball up to throw, and somebody knocked it out. I believe it was Kenneth Parker who knocked it out of his hands, and Forney has recovered.
Well, Matthews made the textbook mistake of trying to pick up the fumble.
The sophomore mistake.
You got to pounce on that, especially when you're in traffic. There is one priority: maintain possession. Once that ball hits the carpet, the number one thing you need to do is make sure you don't lose possession. And what happened is he touched it, but because it was wobbly and someone else hit him, he didn't maintain it. Had he just fell on it, North would have been okay.
We'll probably have time for one play here in the first quarter as there's 6 seconds left on the clock. Forney leading 2-0. And moving right to left, Hartwick in the backfield in shotgun formation. Two others with him, Peter Smith being one. He throws it out to Smith in the flats, and he's knocked down behind the line of scrimmage. Chris Williams makes up, sniffed that one out perfectly, and that's going to be a 5-yard loss back to the 49-yard line, and that is the end of the first quarter. Forney leading 2-0 over McKinney North at Ron Post Stadium. Back in a moment. 97.5 KLAK. 2nd down and 15 for Forney. Handoff Peter Smith running left side as they move and switch sides now. About a 5-yard gain for Peter Smith. Chris Williams makes the stop. Forney moving left to right now. And McKinney, a pretty nice play to hold Chris Williams in check there.
It looked like it could have gone a lot more than that. He was running off left tackle. Give credit to the secondary coming in and minimizing that gain. Monty, kind of concerned. When was the last time we had a scoreless first quarter for the Bulldogs?
It's been a long time. It's been a long, long time.
I mean, I'll be more concerned if they're scoreless at halftime, but, they generally come out with a great start.
3rd down and, they'll say 10 on the scoreboard. It's more like 9. Throw across the middle. It's caught by Forney to the 34, down to the 30-yard line, and Marquise Millard-Sims makes the catch, and it's going to be Tyler McElveen who makes the catch. Came in tonight with 4 catches, 105 yards. Last week he had 2 for 67, and that's his first catch tonight.
As you see, McElveen was really holding on to the ball. The Bulldogs secondary was doing all they could to try to strip it away, and he did a fantastic job of holding on. Nice little pattern, a little hook in the secondary. Found the seam in the zone, was able to get the first down.
1st down and 10 for Forney. Hartwick in shotgun, hands off Peter Smith, who bursts out. But only gain, that's a great 3-yard gain. He is really fast. Colton Floyd makes the stop. And Peter Smith, I'm telling you, he is tremendously fast coming out of the backfield.
Well, as good as he's looked tonight, though, Monty, the McKinney North defense has done a great job. They have held him 10 carries, 37 yards, only 3.7 yards per carry tonight for Peter Smith. But you keep waiting for him to break one.
You almost feel like it's a matter of time.
Yeah.
Second down and 8 with 10:17 left to go in the second quarter. Hartwick wants the ball, and he gets it. Low snap, and whistles will blow, and penalty flags will come out before this play can get underway.
Again, generally, when it's a dead ball foul, it's a legal motion, false start, legal procedure on the offensive line.
We've got John Leidy down on the sidelines with an interesting report, I'm sure. Go ahead, John.
Guys, I think I've solved the problem with the scoreboard going out a while ago. If you look in the north end zone, you see some maintenance workers working on the play clock. That was delay a game right there and back up to y'all.
All right. Thank you very much, John Leidy. 9:54 left to go here in the second quarter. McKinney North trailing 2-0 as Hartwick's in shotgun. Low snap once again, handoff. Oh, what a nice play on the backside. Desmond Ehrlich came across the backside and took Peter Smith down just as he got the ball. It's about, that's a pretty big loss on the play.
Loss of about 3, Monty, and again, they're doing a great job getting to him. I mean, Peter Smith so far tonight, like you said, there's been a few times it looks like he's been shot out of a cannon. But the McKinney North defense, they've got speed too.
Well, it looks like the defense has figured out the blocking schemes of the Jackrabbits offensive line, because what they were doing on the first drive, they're not doing in subsequent drives, and basically that was getting big holes for Smith to run through.
Our first score of the night elsewhere, Sherman and Terrell knotted at 7. Here's third down and 17. Hartwick on the run, rolling right side, steps up and is taken down by, is that Mike? No, that's Sam Kimani.
Jace Boyd on the play as well.
Jace Boyd, yeah, another. Tell you what, come on, that's Hartwick who has the strong arm. He can really throw the football, but he doesn't run very well. He's not a scrambler. He does have 148, or he did have 62 yards rushing last week, but you'd have to think that those are just open scrambles when the pocket breaks down, because he's not real fast or agile.
But strong.
But here's the shotgun, and he's going to quick kick it once again on fourth down in a truckload. It was 4th and 23, and this is another one heading towards that coffin corner, and can you believe that? It goes out at the 1, inside the 1.
Holy cow.
McKinney North has had awful field position all night long, and this one is the worst that you can get, inside the 1.
I'm now suspecting that the quick kick is their punt formation. Because, obviously it makes it a lot easier to have a fake punt that way. I want to highlight his punting, Hartwick's punting. What he did the first time, it dropped at the 5 and stayed at the 5. This time around, it hits at the 10, and everything is sweet, that nice little roll, and somehow he angles it between the pylon and the 1 yard line.
Yeah, great kick by Hartwick.
Technically 42 yards as well. I mean, you can't ask for anything better than that.
Well, if it works, it works. Now let's get a 99-yard drive going.
We never did give you the Bulldog offense last time, so we'll do that here in a moment. Shotgun for Stanko, who's going to hand off to Josh Matthews, running right tackle, and he's upended at the 1 yard line, so no gain. And here's the Bulldog starting offense.
Josh Matthews on the carry, tackled by Keaton Camp. No gain on the play.
Second down and 10 for McKinney North from their own 1. Stanko wants to throw the quick end to Douglas, and that's right there to the 12, to the 13-yard line. And that's like Aikman to Irvin, as Douglas, anytime you throw it near him, he's going to catch it. Kellen Copper on the stop, the middle linebacker for Forney, but that's a huge play to get out of that end zone area.
You know what I've noticed David Douglas likes to do is take that first hit, spin around, and it looks like he's going to go down, but then he's able to get a few yards extra out of it. And sometimes if there's not another defender there, get a lot more yards out of it. He's great at that.
And Forney looks like they jump off sides here. I assume we see the Forney defender going across the line of scrimmage. It's Daniel Zamolik, the defensive end.
Yeah, when the defender jumps off sides but makes contact is in this case, that's generally encroachment. Not generally, it is encroachment, and that's exactly what happens. A lot of time encroachment comes when there's a hard 2 count, like a hoot, hoot, and then there's that pause, and then you do it again, and that gets them jumping. And once you make contact with the offense before the play starts, it's an immediate dead ball.
First down and 5 for McKinney North, moving right to left. Stanko, shotgun, under pressure, pumps. Now has to scramble, being chased down. He has the 20, down to the 25-yard line. And how in the world did he get out of that to gain 7 yards and a first down?
You talked about Peter Smith on the last drive, how looked a great run, but it only turned out to be 3 yards. That's got to be one of the ugliest 5-yard runs that I've seen. But you know what? You'll take the results anytime you can get them.
Yeah, that wasn't pretty.
No, but you know what? I'll take not pretty with a first down any day.
And it is 1st and 10 for McKinney North with 6:53 left to go in the second quarter, down 2-0 to Forney. Shotgun, Stanko, handoff, Pitts, right tackle, and gain of about 2 yards. Kenneth Parker on the stop for Forney.
And you know what, Monty? One of the things that Vince Stanko does that I really admire in the guy, but a lot of other quarterbacks won't do, he handed the ball off, and there was another guy coming, probably wouldn't have been in on the play, but Vince is not afraid to, hey, there's a nice little hit for you. You're not going to make my running back go down. I mean, that's an admirable attribute in a quarterback.
It'll be Matthews in the backfield now, along with Stanko. And Stanko wants to throw. David Douglas, guess who? At the 33. Stutter steps across to the 36-yard line, about a half a yard short of the first down. Justin Price makes the stop for Forney, but about an 8-yard gain for David Douglas.
Yeah, you look at the quarterback, obviously a little different than last year, especially in body style, but that ball was halfway there before Douglas turned around. If Stanko and Douglas can get the kind of timing and rapport that Herbal and Douglas had, I mean, that's going to be no drop-off from last year, and that's exactly what that play was.
3rd down and a yard. Handoff, Matthews running right side, and he's going to lose 3. Back to the 32-yard line, 33-yard line. DeMarcus Lacey came up from his linebacker position and took the legs out of Matthews, and that's the second time he's had his legs taken out.
Well, and the thing is, again, another sophomore mistake. We saw the first when he tried to pick up a fumble and run with it. You need 1 yard. If he would have stayed on the designed play, and that was basically either between center and guard or guard and tackle, he would have gotten that 1 yard. Instead, he thought, well, I can only get 1 yard here. Let me see if I can make a bigger gain, and ended up losing yards.
Well, David Douglas is going back to punt now, and Rodney Nelson checking in late. We'll see if he can line up on time. It's 4th down and 4. Douglas gets a snap, left-footed, punts this one away. A high kick going to be taken at the 33-yard line. Coming near side is Lowry. Breaks through at the 45-50. 45, flag down at the 40. And knocked out of bounds by Matthews, Josh Matthews. Finally, but a big gain. Let's check the flag way back at the 42-yard line in Forney territory.
Yeah, I can tell you what that is. There was a Bulldog coming down, streaking on the side, Kyle Dancy, and he was going to be in position to make the tackle until one of the blockers pushed him in the back. I mean, that's about as blatant as you can get, and as soon as he did, the line judge threw the flag right away. I mean, that's about as blatant as you can get. Now, what's going to really matter here is what the second flag was. It's likely going to be on the same play, but not necessarily.
Well, the official making the call here.
Yeah, so we got, or not motion, I'm sorry, legal shift prior to the punt. So, man, 3 penalties. Well, you're talking about how it was sloppy earlier. It doesn't give much sloppier than 3 penalties.
Well, they're
on the play.
scattered from the 35 across the 50 to the 32. You can see where the first flag came in on McKinney North. And then you got 2 yellow hankies down here on the south side of the football field. And it has been a messy game. I mean, you bring it up, 3 penalties tonight against McKinney, not counting these. 3 penalties for 35 yards, McKinney North, and for Forney, 4 penalties for 20 yards. So it's been ugly.
And let me tell you, that play started off ugly with Rodney Nelson coming in late. There's your illegal shift right there. And then, obviously, the illegal block in the back, then the holding. So, I mean, we're likely going to see a re-kick.
Well, it looks like David Douglas is coming back on the field. And I don't see Rodney Nelson out there. Oh, I do too. Now he's split out wide to the right out there. So they will replay the down. It'll be 4th and 4 once again. 4:38 left to go in the second quarter. McKinney North trailing Forney 2-0. And David Douglas is going to punt here, and it'll be McElveen this time, standing at his own 43. He's going to be Ooh, this is a big high punt by Douglas, and not only can he catch, but he can punt, and this works out pretty good for McKinney North. It's going to go all the way back to the 15-yard line.
So,
and, man, illegal shift every time, Rodney Nelson. Go out there and do that.
Well, because here's the thing: the penalty from the spot of the foul would have put him around the 30 to the 25. So it's a net gain either way.
I'm going to tell you what, I haven't seen a punt like that with that much hang time and that much distance since Hunter Smith back in Sherman back in 1994. That's a 52-yard punt and about a 5-second hang time. That was very impressive.
There's your key right there. If you can get a 5-second hang time, your net average and your total average will be about the same.
That was a great kick. 4:27 left to go before half. Forney with the ball and leading 2-0 at their own 15-yard line. This is going to be a handoff up the middle. I believe that's Peter Smith. And it is. Rodney Nelson makes the stop. About a 5-yard gain for Forney. He'll make it 2nd down and 5.
Well, now it's going to be up to the defense. I almost wish I didn't said it now. I'll be a little bit more worried about a scoreless half. Obviously, there's still 4 minutes left, but I'm telling you, the offense is shooting themselves. It's not necessarily that they're being out-defended, because they're not.
Well, you asked about McKinney North's first quarter performance, and so far this year, that had been their most prolific scoring quarter, going scoring 30 points so far in the first 2 games. None tonight, obviously. And here's Hartwick is going to hand off to Smith again. He cuts it out left tackle, trapped behind the backfield, or trapped in the backfield rather, but gets back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd and 5, and Sam Kamani makes the stop for McKinney North.
Well, I tell you, the defense is really starting to, I don't want to say adapt, but they're not giving the Jackrabbits as much as they were in the first quarter.
In the first quarter, you could really, if McKinney North had not had that face mask call, all of that would have been wiped out.
Yeah.
But they had the face mask call, which led to the first down. When they had them trapped, it would have been 4th down and 15. They would have gotten the ball back. But the face mask call allowed Forney to keep the ball and later on took it down and put McKinney North in bad field position. Here is Hartwick wanting to throw the ball down the field. Almost intercepted by Sam Kamani, but it was a little overthrown for even him. There was not a Forney Jackrabbit anywhere in the vicinity, so I have no idea who he was throwing it to.
Nearest I can tell, it was Austin Williams, but there were 3 blue jerseys between. I mean, here's what happened. Hartwick threw off the back of his foot. Obviously, because he was rushed and he saw the guy cross. He threw across his body, across the field, and that's never good for even for a guy like Eric Erbel. That's not an easy task.
Well, if here comes the regular punter.
Interesting.
I tell you what, I would probably, and it's going to be Atterbury, I would probably keep Hartwick in there, because knowing Hartwick, it would be a 79-yard punt all the way down to the 1-yard line.
What's his average, Jay? I mean, it's got to be Hartwick's punting average. It's got to be
this one good. Is almost blocked. It does get away. It's going to land at the 45. Check if there's a flag.
I think it just went out of bounds way up there, because the teams are switching.
Well, let's check down with
he put his knee down.
Oh.
No way.
That's what it was. He went down for the snap. There was a low snap, put his knee down on the turf. So they marked him down. You hardly ever see that. Let's talk to John Lighty down on the sideline. John?
He's down right there. It's not like the NFL where you got to be touched. He was down right there. So the Bulldogs are actually going to get the ball on the 6-yard line. Back up to y'all.
What a great turn of events for McKinney North. I mean, that's something
that's
you don't.
Gift.
That is a gift. It really is a gift. So now McKinney North has the ball at the Forney 6-yard line. The Forney 6, not the 46. Handoff, Damon Pitts up the middle, nothing doing there. Stopped right at the line of scrimmage, and Kenneth Parker makes a stop for Forney. And this Forney defense is pretty good, folks. They held Frisco Centennial to 14 points last week, and we all know what Ryan Masakowski and those guys can do over in Frisco.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, what I've seen today is more McKinney North really doing a lot to hurt their cause. Now, granted, obviously, when you make a team hurt their cause, you got to be doing something.
Second down and 6, and now we have more whistles. And it looks like it's going to be a timeout. And we're going to take 1-2. 2-0. Forney in the lead. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. 2-0. Forney in the lead over McKinney North. But McKinney North is knocking on the door at the Forney 6-yard line. It'll be at the 6-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Moving right to left is McKinney North. Stanko, shotgun. He wants to throw, looking right side, throws it in the end zone, and it is caught. And out of bounds is Chris Allen at the 1 yard line. Justin Price on the stop. Chris Allen made a nice catch. Chris Allen, a pretty big guy over there, too. 6'2", 190-pound junior. Another big target for McKinney North.
Well, I got to say, that's a dangerous pass by Stanko because luckily he put it right where he needed to. You make a small mistake. There were 3 white jerseys around that, and it was a little underthrown, which is why Charles had to come up and get it. But there was also great coverage in the secondary. Obviously, you can't say anything because it worked out, but that might be a situation where you check off to a secondary receiver, tuck it, and run. But, again, since it worked out, maybe it's a little premature.
3rd and goal from the 2, and another timeout has been called. We'll keep it right here. We have some scores to pass along, Brandon.
Yeah, not a whole lot coming down for us right now, but we've got two area teams, if you will. Sulphur Springs just handing it to Denison. It's 29-0 in the second quarter in that one.
Well, Bob Brown isn't the coach over there anymore, is he?
No, it's kind of obvious. I don't know that he would have ever, in any way whatsoever, accepted a 29-0 score. And then the last one that we got was a 7-7 Sherman at Terrell. That one was late in the first.
Well, we have Frisco and West Mesquite knotted up at 7 in the second quarter. Centennial over Saxe, 7-0. We have Highland Park over Bishop Lynch, 7-0. And Richardson Pierce over W.T. White, 17-6 in the second.
What was Frisco's score?
Frisco Centennial was 7-7 with West Mesquite.
Okay,
and
that's about where I had that one.
Wiley and Hebron tied at 7 at the end of 1 is what we have. 135 is what we have here in the second quarter, with Forney leading 2-0, a 2-run homer by the Jackrabbits. Actually, it was a safety that went through Stanko's hands in the end zone, and Stanko had to fall on it. Hits the 2 points. So here's Stanko on 3rd and goal. And guess who he goes to? David Douglas. And it's touchdown time in Texas. And McKinney North leads 6-2, awaiting the PAT. David Douglas just did the old Michael Irvin. He made 2 steps, cut inside, and the ball was right on the money.
Well, and that's a very effective pattern for McKinney North down here inside the 10-yard line, because you're basically going one-on-one coverage on the outside. Well, I thought some trickery was coming up. We had 3 folks to the left side. The offense was still on the field. Now they're exchanging personnel, making sure that Forney stays on their toes. But once you get single coverage to the outside, all you got to do is get inside your defender for that out pattern or in pattern. That's exactly what happened.
Stephen Meyer with the extra point, and McKinney North leads 7-2. 1:32 left to go before half. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Poe Stadium, where McKinney North leads 7-2 over the Forney Jackrabbits, and I think we have time for an American Bank of Texas scoring drive recap, Jay.
Whopping drive, Monty. 3 plays, 6 yards, capped off by a 2-yard touchdown connection between Stanko and Douglas, and that, of course, being Douglas's 6th touchdown reception of the season.
19th for his career. They do kick it out of that quail onside position, but they kick it deep. Meyer booms it down to the 10-yard line. It's going to be Lowry, who tries to spin out of a tackle and does. Still at the 11, and now down and swarmed at the 10-yard line, and they'll actually mark him at the 9. He had a nice move for a moment to spin out, but he spun right back into another one.
Well, and that's the thing. You can try to spin all you want to, but when that happens and you keep going backwards, you're really not eluding the defender so much as letting him get to you, and that's a great illustration. And there's a penalty on the play.
Yeah, another flag. Unbelievable.
Wow.
How many penalties do we have tonight,
Well,
Jay?
official penalties between the two comes out to 7, but overall penalties that have been marked off and waved off, we've got 12 between the two teams.
Wow.
There have been 5 penalties that have either wiped each other out, or there was, of course, the the offsides penalty on the very first play from scrimmage for Forney that turned out to be a 10-yard run, and so, of course, they declined the penalty.
Trying to find a McKinney score for you. That's a hold, by the way. on Forney. Trying to find a McKinney score for you. They're playing Richardson tonight. We'll see if we can come up with that score for you. 1:21 left to go in the second quarter here. McKinney North leading 7-2 over Forney. Shotgun for Hartwick. Low snap. Hands off. Peter Smith bounces out to the left side up to the 10-yard line. A nice gain of 4 or so. And it'll be Colt 45 on the stop for McKinney North.
Well, and that illustrates exactly a big difference between the first couple of drives for the Jackrabbits and what they've been able to do lately. Peter Smith would have found the hole and just ran through that one for 5-10 yards maybe. This time around, there's no hole, so he has to bounce it outside. And what happens, especially with this defense, is when you have to bounce it outside, what you're basically letting happen is a couple other defenders are able to pursue and get to where you're going, and so that just gives them more time to react.
Well, Jay, you said, well, I'll get right back to that. As here's Peter Smith bouncing out to the right to the 15, to the 20, to the 25, cuts it back inside near the sidelines to the 35 and out of bounds. They'll say he stayed inbounds, I believe, and mark him down at the 37. The clock, well, it's stopped right now momentarily. They're going to move the chains. Marquise Millard-Sims makes the stop. But a nice gain there by Peter Smith.
27 yards on the play.
And now you know how he had 301 yards last week. I was going to tell you real quick, you said that Little Elm, you can't win in East Texas, right? Well,
know where this is going.
Paris is leading 14-7 over Little Elm. So you may be right. There may be something to that East Texas thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sulphur Springs, look what they're doing to Denison tonight over there. 9 seconds on the second quarter clock. Hartwood drops back, wants to throw, pumps. Throws it down the left side of the field, and it is caught somehow in between two defenders at the 25-yard line, but time has expired. We will go to the half. It is 7-2. McKinney North in the lead. The players have not left the field yet. As we'll check down in a moment with John Leidy. Now the players are leaving. John Leidy's got something for us down on the field. John, take it over. And maybe he doesn't have anything for us. I thought for a moment.
Hold on. He might now.
Guys, that was a great pass. It actually was a jump ball to where the defender and the receiver both came down with the ball there. They gave the possession to the wide receiver, but time did run out, as you said, and it is halftime. Back up to y'all.
All right, thanks a lot, John Leidy. Now, I think what Kevin Rush, the Forney coach, may be concerned with, as he had the players out there for a long time, he might have been concerned that maybe there should have been a defensive penalty out there on the field. And, the half cannot end on a defensive penalty, and I think that's what Kevin Rush may have been upset about.
Well, he wasn't going to get it. That was well defended. The thing is, it was a little bit more offended. I'm not sure what the proper one would be, but the receiver basically –
it was a great
almost
catch.
Alvin Harpered him, kind of went over him, but
catch.
went between him, grabbed it. It was kind of a wrestling ball. Luckily for North, the ball expired, or the time expired, so it really didn't matter who had it.
It's one of those where it was great coverage by two guys, but the receiver just made a better play. That's what it was.
Sometimes you can defend great, and the offensive player is just a little bit better.
Well, we've got homecoming halftime coming up.
So that means it'll be long.
Well, normally these, UIL mandates, 29 minutes for half is what they say. We'll see. Right now it's 8:35, something like that. We'll see when we get back.
Synchronized watches.
7-2. McKinney North in the lead over Forney. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
McKinney North for the touchdown. So it's almost been tit for tat with penalties and mistakes tonight between both of these teams. And, quite frankly, this is kind of what you expect in the early weeks. Things just aren't flowing for either team tonight.
Well, this is arguably one of the shortest, I can't call it highlight section we've ever had. Problem is you can't highlight a penalty. You can't highlight, it's a mistake.
And there's been some great returns. There have been some great returns on the Forney side of the football that have been called back due to penalties.
Since we're at half, we'll go ahead and give you some scores as McKinney North's back out on the field and doing some stretching exercises in the end zone. Scores to pass along, of course, McKinney Boyd last night over Denton 31-6. As Saxe and Frisco Centennial are tied at 7. Little Elm trailing Paris 21-7, and that's the East Texas curse, I think, that Jay brought up a moment ago. McKinney leading Richardson 21-0 at the half. West Mesquite over Frisco 21-7. And Lake Highlands over Colleyville Heritage 10-6. What is this? Troy over OSU 20-3. Okay.
College
right.
Friday night score for you.
Yeah. All right. Okay. 29-0 Sulphur Springs over Denison. That's over in East Texas, and maybe you're on to something there, Jay. 7-7 Sherman and Terrell. Now they're in Terrell, so that's pretty much East Texas too. So we'll have to track that one. Highland Park over Bishop Lynch 21-0. Salina over Prestonwood 36-3. Jesuit over Berkner 10-7. Plano West over North Mesquite 21-0, and Plano over Carter 28-0. That's in the second. And Wiley over Hebron 14-7, and that one is at half.
See, if Greenville was playing at home tonight, I could test that theory.
You know, Greenville, there are some good programs over there in the East. You think about Greenville, Sulphur Springs, Paris, Terrell, those are good programs and have been for a long time. Forney has come back out, and they're doing their stretches in their end zone. And why don't we take a real quick 1-minute timeout. We'll be back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms, John Leidy, and Jay Lindley, and Rob Johnson in the booth with us tonight once again doing our spotting for us, and Rob's done a great job so far in our third game, and I understand Rob's not going to be with us next week, so
boy, the crew's just breaking down.
That means I'll have to be on top of my game and looking at tacklers and stuff like that, where Rob's normally right on the spot, so he could just tell me who makes the tackles.
Well,
if you're wondering how this works up here, that's how it works. I have to have somebody help me out because I can't see everything.
Well, and it's tough. You look at the NFL broadcast, they've probably got 7 people in the booth outside the broadcasters, and that's why it sounds so smooth. But, we've got Rob not with us, and then back at the studio, Gene's bailing on us.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
we're going to have to be on our game to compensate for them.
New board op next week, and I tell you what.
And I know how much you hate Casey.
I tell you what, yeah, Casey's a good guy. Casey's a real good guy. But Gene is by far and above the best board op in North Texas.
Well, it's like taking the head trainer out. Hey, he may not make a lot of plays, and sometimes you may overlook him, but
Or maybe he's the David Douglas of our crew. How about that? We'll check down with John Leidy right after this kickoff as John's getting ready for the second half, just like we are. He may have talked to Coach Sean Pratt. We'll see what he's got for us. As Forney will come out to kick this one away. The kicker for Forney is Tucker Burke.
And as always, McKinney deferred if they win the coin toss, so they scored at the end of the half, and they're going to take the ball at the beginning of this half.
David Douglas and Damon Pitts back deep. Pitts is going to take it at the 13, comes up the left hash, moving left to right, escapes one defender, and finally dragged down at the 43-yard line. Still in their own territory, but in great shape here. It'll be 1st and 10 from the McKinney North 43. And let's check down with John Leidy real quick. John, what do you got for us?
Guys, actually the momentum of McKinney North that we were talking about during halftime is actually swinging their way. They came out with that kickoff return right there, and the sideline was like, this is going to be a touchdown right here. And they knew it was going to be, and it was almost 2 people to beat right there for it to be a touchdown, but back up to y'all.
Yeah, that's one of my comments I was going to make. That was one of the best wedge returns I've seen this year. Beautifully executed.
11:52 left to go in the third, just underway. 7-2, McKinney North leading here. Stanko is going to hand off up the middle in a nice 5 or 6 yard gain there before being taken down by Kezzy Camp is the tailback. And
nice job
there by Cole.
Yeah, by Fruit. What he did, he was supposed to go up between guard center. That hole was filled, and so he was able to bounce it a little bit to the outside just off the tackle's left hip, and was able to find a nice little seam and got some good yards. And that's great. If Fruit can start reading these holes, he's going to be an effective runner.
Josh Matthews, the lone back. Stanko drops back, looks left side, under pressure, and sacked in the backfield. Back to the 44-yard line of the original line of scrimmage, so about a 6-yard loss. It's Trevin Marcus, the safety, coming on a blitz and making the stop.
And that was ultimately what happened. Forney might have rolled the dice there. They ended up it worked out well for them because it was a pass blitz, and that's exactly what the Bulldogs were running. And Stanko couldn't get his receiver in the route in time for him to make a comfortable throw.
Matthews stands to the right of Stanko in shotgun formation. Sends a man in motion. They're going to hand off to him, cutting it up. Now cuts it back outside. That's Douglas trying to find the corner to the near side and out of bounds at the 49-yard line, shy of midfield. And it'll be 4th down and assuredly punt time. They'll say he crossed. No, they're going to put him back on the McKinney North side.
Yeah, just nice pursuit there coming from the Forney defense. They read the reverse, and you remember the very first play of the game was a sort of reverse in which David Douglas took a pitch from Charles Cole, threw across his body, and it would have worked out really well if it wasn't for a short pass. But this time around, he doesn't even fake a throw. He just keeps on running, and the Jackrabbits are a nice pursuit.
Douglas stands at his own 36, going to left-footed punt this one away. This one not as good as the other one. It's a very high punt, sails off to the side of his foot, and almost out of bounds. He just kind of shanked that one, and it'll land at the 40-yard line in Forney territory, so a short punt, Jay.
16-yard punt, so that from the line of scrimmage, 16 yards on the punt, and putting that with 52, that brings the average down just a little bit.
Is that more like it? Is that the normal average? Yeah, I think that is right. I think
it was right. It was an 11-yard punt.
It was an 11-yard punt.
So that
he
really
just didn't hit it right.
That really drops the average.
Yeah. Well, not that 16 is a heck of a lot better, but
10:27 left to go in the third. McKinney North up 7-2. Here's Hartwick back to pass, trying to find Williams across the middle, and it's nice coverage over there by Chris Williams, who knocks the ball down, and the other Williams, Austin Williams, down at the same time. Nice play.
Yeah, it's going to be the Chris Williams who made the nice play there. Read the ball perfectly. He made contact right as the receiver Williams touched the ball.
Austin Williams.
Perfect. You know, as soon as you touch the ball, clobber him, mangle him, do whatever, as long as obviously within the confines of the rules. And that's what he did. Beautiful job.
2nd down and 10 for Forney, moving right to left. Hartwick in the backfield. Peter Smith right behind him, about 3 yards behind the shotgun and the quarterback. And here's Smith getting the handoff, left side. A big hole for a moment. It closes down, but Smith pushes the pile out to the first down marker into McKinney North territory by about an inch. It's on the 49-yard line. Colt 45 makes the stop for McKinney North. It's about his at least 4th or 5th time I've called his name anyway.
Yeah, Zach Tops, the left tackle for the Jackrabbits, was really the one who made that play. It was kind of I don't really say a pitch because the quarterback in this situation, Hartwick, started like he was going to run, got around where the tackle is, and then handed it off. So it's an off left tackle, but it's like the left tackle was pulling, and he was blocking 3 guys on his own.
1st down and 10 for Forney. Hartwick, shotgun. He fakes the hand to Smith and rolls out left side, tries to stiff arm once again and gets out of bounds. That stiff arm was going to work, but it was
ran out of room.
Sam Kamani over there who dodged it this time.
Well, and Colt 45 went into the stands as well, so to speak.
Yeah, it's not often you'll see that happen, but Colt couldn't bring him in. And that's what I'm telling you. This guy reminds me of Joe John Finley, who's a tight end at a major D1 program. He has that same build and apparently has the same strength too, because he stiff-armed a guy to the ground. In this case, no one was able to tackle him. Surprised he doesn't run more often.
4-yard gain up to the 46-yard line. Shotgun. Fake the hand once again to Smith, throwing it on the run to the right side, and the pass is dropped at about 8 yards down from the line of scrimmage, and that's Austin Williams again. And it's Marquise Millard-Sims in coverage, but that pass should have been caught.
Yeah, you can give credit to Marquise all you want to. The plain fact of the matter is Austin was looking to run. And, we talked about it earlier. It happens all over the place. He was looking more toward the next step than making sure he had the current step complete. And, I got to tell you, again, it goes back to they're defeating themselves.
By the way, the Taylor Douthit watch, I think we can put that away, I think.
Like I told you, he's a lineman. I made a mistake. I'm going out there to do it again.
Let's go down to John Leidy right after this play. It is 3rd down and 6. Hopefully they'll be punting after this play if you're a McKinney North fan. 9:40 left to go in the third. McKinney North leading 7-2. And on 3rd and 6 is going to be Hartwick. And if they, it's a shotgun formation here. 2 receivers to either side, dropping straight back about 2 steps. Wants to throw across the middle. And it's almost intercepted by Marquise Millord Sims. It goes right through his hands.
Gotta bring that
and it'll be incomplete and 4th down. Let's check down with John Leidy. John, what do you got for us down there on the sidelines?
I've actually got an update on the weather here. Since halftime, the wind is coming straight out of the north and it's actually picked up, and that partially contributes to David Douglas's punt that almost went straight up and was only for 11. Back up to y'all.
All right,
Good point.
Thanks very much. We do have the wind. You can see the flag kind of blowing down through. There's a quick kick, and that's
blocked.
As Marquise Millord Sims is going to go back and catch this one at the 21-yard line, but the quick kick has been effective, but at least McKinney North caught the ball this time.
Well, that, you just see they read it to the point where they were trying to block it, but give Peter Smith a good credit. He made a block there. And maybe this is a situation where Marquise doesn't want to make a mistake, so he calls a fair catch, so that way he doesn't have to worry about it. There wasn't a whole lot of wide around him. He might have been able to make a return. But again, if it's going to be versus a gain or a mistake, hey, take the safe route. You know, that's not a bad job. You got the ball. That's the main thing.
Bad news, McKinney North going into that win now, but the good news, they'll have it in the 4th quarter. They lead, the McKinney North Bulldogs do, with 9:28 to go in the third, 7-2. Shotgun, handoff, Fruit Cole up the middle, barrels his way, bumbles and stumbles for about 9 yards, and Fruit Cole looks like Robert Newhouse and nearly picks up a 1st down. Trevin Marcus, the safety, makes the stop for Forney.
Well, let me tell you, right now what Forney's doing, they're trying to bring him down by the legs, and what I mean by that is they're lowering their shoulder, trying to undercut his legs, and Fruit's not having it.
Fruit does physically look a lot like Robert Newhouse. He does have the big legs and the small waist. He's very Robert Newhouse-like. He wears 14 instead of 44. And there's another 6-yard gain by Fruit Cole. And for a 1st down, it'll be DeMarcus Lacey on the stop.
Well, Monty, you saw it, but for everyone listening to us who's not at the game, again, it's a situation where they're not wrapping him up. You know, I mean, this time they were successful in taking out his legs. But, I mean, they're having a hard time wrapping him up.
5 carries for 44 yards for Cole tonight.
Shotgun on 1st and 10 for McKinney North. Moving left to right, handoff, Fruit Cole, left tackle. Makes a couple of more people miss for about a 6-yard gain there. The middle linebacker, Kellen Copper, big number 42, makes the stop for Forney.
Well, and I think what we're seeing now is where a tandem is going to be in good shape. Because, you know, you look at, you know, the Thunder Lightning kind of running back comparisons, if you will. Right now, Lightning's not working, but Thunder is. So we're probably going to see a healthy dose of Charles Fruit Cole.
We haven't seen a lot of Damon Pitts back there.
Yeah, not in the second half, absolutely.
Here's a handoff to Fruit Cole.
See?
Wants to go left, then goes right. It's kind of like a trap play where it starts out in one direction, it comes back the other. Kezzy Camp makes the stop, and that's close to a 1st down. This one might even be one you might want to measure. This is very close, and they are going to they're going to rule 1st down. They don't even bring the sticks out, and Kevin Rush may be a little upset with that across the field.
Let's keep this momentum going. Again, when I said C, 2 to 3 guys touch Charles without bringing him down.
And Charles being Fruit, we call him Fruit so much that you may not even know his real name. Here's Stanko, handoff to Fruit up the middle in a gain of about 2. And they're getting a heavy bowl of fruit here in this drive.
Five straight carries now for Fruit Cole on this particular drive. Overall, 8 carries for 56 yards. And looking at Pitts tonight, he struggled on the ground. 5 carries for 8 yards. So you got to go with the hot hand.
Yeah, on this last play, Aaron Matthews really kind of helped spring Fruit. He didn't get a good block, but he tied up the guy who would have had him in the backfield. And that's a really easy tackle for that guy to make. Not saying he would have, given the way this game's going.
7-2, McKinney North in the lead. 2nd down and 8 for McKinney North. Stanko, I almost said Herbal. And he throws incomplete, looking out to the near side, trying to find his receiver, Chris Davis, but it falls incomplete. It'll be 3rd down and 8. I said Herbal, Herbal for so long around these parts that it just automatically comes out.
Well, this is the first quarterback in North I've seen that's not herbal. But on that last play, what they're trying to do is throw a wrinkle in the play. They've been giving a heavy dose of fruit. So there's a quick audible at the line of scrimmage, a receiver running it out, but the outside linebacker read that perfectly.
Stanko drops back on 3rd and 8 with 7:02 left to go in the third, leading Forney 7-2 into shotgun position. They're going to hand off to Pitts, who comes on a reverse to Douglas. Coming near side, cuts it back out. Trying to escape tacklers, still won't go down, fighting, and I believe he has a first down, and that's David Douglas not quitting on the play. What a tremendous effort as Sean Pratt reaches out and taps him on the helmet and says, good job, young man. Preston Gable will get credit for the tackle, but David Douglas was untackleable on that play.
3 guys were around and holding on to David Douglas, and he was still able to go forward for the first down. He was a good 4 or 5 yards shy of the first down, but that was determination. He did not want to go down. He knew where the first down marker was and did everything he could to get it. I mean, this man's an athlete.
What will? Fruit Cole in the backfield, 1st and 10 for McKinney North, 6:33 left to go in the third. Handoff, Fruit running right side, drags a man around his hips as he gains maybe a yard or two. Kenneth Parker, I believe the man he was dragging, and going to get credit for that tackle. Once again, 7-2, McKinney North in the lead, 6:22 left to go in the third quarter.
Shouldn't that clock be running?
I believe.
Oh, there's a flag. Never mind. Okay, offside. I didn't see the flag, so. You know what? My apologies to the scoreboard operator, one of the finest in the land.
Well, and I thought we were going to actually get through a quarter without a penalty. That's the first penalty of the second half on either squad.
Good news is it wasn't on us.
The Forney Jackrabbits, led by Coach Kevin Rush, is also a Plano graduate. Sean Pratt, obviously being a Plano graduate. There's a lot of these Plano guys who are coaches now. Of course, Kevin Rush is about 10 years older than Sean Pratt, but needless to say, they know each other. Here's Damon Pitts into the ball game, and he's got some fresh legs, and those fresh legs carry him to about a 13-yard, about a 7-8-yard gain, and up for the first. DeMarcus Lacey, the safety, makes the tackle. You have to move the sticks once again, and Damon Pitts shows why he can come in and really change the pace.
I'm kind of stupefied as to what the defensive ends were doing. They're like on a pass rush. They went immediately upfield, and on a running play, you take yourself out of the equation without the blockers really having to do anything.
Stupefied.
Yeah. I'm dumbfounded.
Here's Damon Pitts on the carry again, trying to bounce it out left, and does. And he goes down at the 22-yard line near another first down, about a 9-yard pickup. The safety Trevin Marcus makes the stop for Forney. And now all of a sudden, they've had their bowl of fruit. Now they get some Pitts.
You're better than that.
Last 2 carries, 17 yards for Pitts. So the change of pace seems to be working.
That's something I would do, Monty. No, but hey, get credit to Pitts. That was a pure juke, and he made that play on his own. He had to dodge 2 people in the backfield.
Second down and about 1, maybe 2, as Pitts in the backfield gets the hand, runs up the middle, has the first down, crosses the 18 down to about the 17-yard line. DeMarcus Lacey makes the stop for Forney, and now all of a sudden, McKinney North has had a tremendously long drive here in the third quarter.
Well, we're entering the 10th play of that drive, and guys, you got to look at the way that Coach Pratt is attacking this Forney defense. It's been on the ground and not through the air. He's eaten up all sorts of clock and all sorts of yards in the process.
Leidy made a point early in the game that they were playing tight on the receiver, is going to make them run the ball, and that's what they're doing. Stanko, he's going to throw it this time. The fade route for Allen in the end zone. That's Davis, rather, and it's incomplete. Tight coverage by the corner over there. DeAndre Smith, a returning starter from last year. It was a great defensive play and a pretty nice pass, but at one that Chris Davis was going to have to go up for and bring down.
Well, and you were talking about how tight they were playing. They were actually giving him a big cushion, and the cornerback was the inside. I was expecting and hoping for a fade, and this is where the difference between Stanko and Herbal comes in. Herbal's able to loft that over Stanko, over the defender, and Stanko's still learning the ropes. Erba wasn't able to do that early. And this is exactly what a non-conference schedule will help him iron out.
Here's Stanko on 2nd down and 10. Moves Pitts to his left. He wants to throw to Douglas this time on the fade route. Douglas tripped up for a minute. He got tripped up at about the 10-yard line and couldn't regain his footing, and the ball was overthrown because of that. Justin Price was in the coverage. I don't know if they got their feet tangled up or what, but Douglas never did recover from stumbling there at the 10.
Well, and the defender didn't immediately start backpedaling at the line of scrimmage, and then they kind of touched.
And he still would have caught the ball if he'd have been able to find
it,
it, because he was in the end zone looking up.
And it was that touch that really screwed up the timing. And that's the thing, in a timing pattern, if you can jam a receiver, you're going to be effective.
3rd down and 10. They're going to hand off to Pitts, coming right side. Needs a big running room. He's not going to get it down at the 19-yard line. A nice swarm by the Forney Jackrabbits. There is a flag on the play. Preston Gable makes the stop, but I think this is going to be holding against McKinney North.
There also is a late flag coming in, and I'm afraid we're going to have some unnecessary roughness, which will move him out of field goal range. Okay, good. It's just an illegal block.
Well, it will be 4th down.
Yeah, it's a chop block. So what is that, a 10 or a 15?
Chop block is 15,
That's
I
what
believe.
I'm thinking. Again, it still goes back to, I was thinking unnecessary roughness. A 15-yard penalty is a 15-yard penalty. I would take this if I'm Forney, because you move him out of field goal range on a 3rd down. And that's exactly what they're doing. I definitely agree with this call, because now McKinney North's going to have to shoot for the moon.
Well, they've got David Douglas. Don't ever count these guys out when it's 3rd and long, even when you have the best wide receiver in the state.
Definitely not doing that, but a 35-yard field goal is relatively, again, a kicking into the wind.
But Stephen Myers' long for the year is 24, but he's hit from longer than that last year.
You don't get a lot of options when you're scoring touchdowns.
Here's Stanko. Back to pass, and whistles blow before this one could get underway. And now, instead of being 3rd and 25, looks like it's going to be 3rd and 30.
Yeah, if you weren't out of field goal range before, I'm fairly certain.
This will be against McKinney North.
Yeah. 6 penalties for 65 yards here tonight on the McKinney North Bulldogs, including back-to-back penalties on this particular drive. And what I was going to say is tonight, McKinney North 2 for 3 on 3rd down conversions. Be a miracle if they can get this one.
How about the McKinney Lions over in Richardson, 28-0 in the 4th? Or 4 minutes left in the 3rd. Sorry, here's Stanko, back to pass, under pressure, trying to throw the screen pass to Pitts, and it falls incomplete. And that didn't look good from the get-go. And that'll be 4th and 30, and punt time for McKinney North, who's backed up all the way. After all those penalties and everything else, they're backed up to their own 38-yard, to Forney's 38-yard line. But they'll have to punt.
This drive fizzled out at the end.
Looking
real good.
This was a long drive.
Yeah.
Well, this punt will be the 13th official play.
What's the time of possession?
And time of possession roughly right at 5 minutes and 20 seconds. So they ran a lot. It's disappointing, though, as well, to have the ball that long and not get some points on the board.
And be so successful on the drive right up until the end.
This is going to be McElveen deep to return the punt. Stands at his own 10. And the Douglas kick's going to bounce at the 10 to the right side. And Colton Floyd's going to say, I'm going to touch this right here and kill it at the 6. So for once, Forney's going to have the ball deep in their own territory, and they're going to have to fight to get it out of there.
Yeah, we talk about it. You wonder who the biggest obstacle for McKinney North has been, whether it's been Forney or themselves. But on the other end of the thing, your defense is playing amazing, and they haven't made, definitely not in number, but in severity too, the number of mistakes the offense has. So as long as they can keep playing this way and not give up a big play, they're going to be okay. But I'll tell you, 5-point differential is not something I'm comfortable with this team.
We'll try to check down with John Leidy after this play and get some insight on what happened on that drive where it fizzled out. Here's Hardwick, a bad snap, or he fumbles the ball, actually. He's under pressure, and he's going to be brought down after he stumbles forward and actually makes something out of a big loss. And now a late flag pops out at the end of that play. Somebody probably said something about somebody's mama there. And that's going to be a bad penalty. Zach Gagnon on the stop for McKinney North.
Depends on who said it.
And it has to be against McKinney North because Colt 45 is walking down the field shaking his head. So
And it will be against McKinney North. We're looking for John.
That was an unnecessary roughness penalty.
Looking for John Leidy down on the sideline. John, give us an update how it is down there.
Now, killing that last drive had to be those two major penalties right there at the end. We talked about there not being very many penalties in the second half so far, but there was a lot in the first, and that's what Coach Pratt was upset with. He was upset here with the penalties killing that drive and then just not being able to run the plays that were being called. Back up to y'all.
All right, thanks a lot. John Leidy down on the sidelines.
And, of course, as soon as I say the defense hasn't made the severity type of mistakes, they come out and do a 15-yard personal foul penalty.
7 penalties for 80 yards now.
Jiminy Christmas.
First down and 10 for Forney. Low snap. Hartwig digs it out, rolls out right, wants to throw on the run, and it's caught. And I think that's Mac Elvine on the far sideline, and it is. Again, Mac Elvine, their leading receiver, makes the catch there. Marquise Millard-Sims makes the stop after about a 5-yard gain up to the 27-yard line with 2:58 rolling here in the third. McKinney North still on top, 7-2.
Yeah, I've got to give that young man some credit. He was well off in terms of a buffer between him and the receiver, and he was able to cut that down really fast. That had the potential to be a larger gain, but Marquise had a lot of speed to close that gap and really not give up anything after the catch.
Second down and 5 for Forney. Movement on the offensive line, and for once I think Forney's going to have to move it back. I shouldn't say for once. They've been penalized heavily tonight also. And John makes a good point down on the sideline talking about Coach Pratt. Last week they were just the McKinney North Bulldogs were littered with flags in the first half. Just a terrible fundamental first half for McKinney North. Trying to correct that problem in practice last week. Apparently they just haven't been able to do it. And whether it be focus or what, these McKinney North Bulldogs are making a lot of mistakes early on this season.
And the nice thing in this game, at least, the opponent's doing the same thing. Imagine if Forney wasn't making mistakes.
It'd be tough. Second down and 10 for Forney. It's going to be a handoff to Peter Smith, running left side. Look out, big hole. He's fast to the 35, up to the 40-yard line. A first down for Peter Smith, and I don't understand why they don't just hand the ball off to him a little bit more. There's Marquise Millard-Sims on the stop for McKinney North, and they move the sticks and the ball as they'll place it just outside the 40-yard line.
Smith now at 98 yards rushing on the night. His last 3 carries of 27, 10, and 18.
Does he have butter on his jerseys? I mean, he's able to find these little cracks and slips, and I mean, it's literally like he shoots out of there.
He's really, really fast and quick off the ball. It's one of those where Hartwick has to really turn around and hand it off pretty quick because Peter Smith is right there. Here's another handoff, running right tackle. Peter Smith out to the 45, out to the 50, into McKinney North territory at the 49-yard line. Marquise Millard-Sims may be your leading tackler tonight, and that's not a good sign if your safety is leading your team in tackles.
Well, really in between the first couple of drives in this one, they've been holding the kid in check. He did get a big gain right at the end of the half, but it's like you can't hope to stop him. You can only hope to contain him. And so far, it looks like they're not even containing the guy. He's a good player.
Another first down for Forney as they move it out to the 49-yard line in McKinney North territory. Shotgun for Hartwick. What do? Hand off Peter Smith. Right tackle again. And this time McKinney North does a pretty good job of corralling him. But he slips out and somehow gains about 7, 8, maybe 6 yards. But Peter Smith is he's wearing out these safeties as Chris Williams makes the stop that time.
Well, as I analyze that play, I tell you what it looks like they're doing, because it's kind of a delayed handoff, if you will. It's not like as soon as Hartwick gets the ball, he hands off, which may look like it's a little confusing. But what's happening is that's allowing the defense to kind of get beyond Smith a little bit as they think they're going for Hartwick. And when that happens, hey, you've already taken 2 or 3 guys out of the equation, and you do that with Peter Smith, and he's able to make it a little bit bigger of a game.
Under 30 seconds left to go in the third. McKinney North leading 7-2. Second and 5 for Forney. Handoff, Peter Smith. Nope, Hartwick keeps it and rolls to the left side, but a nice job of contained by McKinney North. Colton Floyd, along with Sam Kamani, make the stop. It'll be, well, they'll say no gain, so 3rd and 5.
Well, and given how the last drive ended, right now this is the biggest play of the half.
And that is the end of the third quarter. McKinney North leading 7-2. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
Football on 97.5 KLAK.
It is fourth quarter time in Texas. 7-2. McKinney North leading Forney. It'll be 3rd and 5 coming up for Forney. And now they will be moving left to right. Forney tonight, 1 out of 5 on third down conversions. And this one a big one right here. 3rd and 5. Forney. Hardwick under center. Hands off Peter Smith up the middle. Churning and fighting and pushing his way. He's going to be short of the first down. It'll be 4th and 1. Makes his way out to the 40-yard line. Chris Williams, the safety for McKinney North, makes the stop, but a yard shy of the first down is Peter Smith. And, you know, decision time here for Forney. You probably go for it here, I would assume.
Give credit to Alex Dennis, the 6'3", 250-pound senior right tackle. He blew the hole wide open for Smith to run through.
He's 4th down and 1. Here they go. Hardwick under center. Handoff, right side. Oh, that's going to be close, and I think he got it. About a yard over the marker. It'll be first down for Peter Smith and Forney. And Peter Smith, not a big guy. He's only 5'9" and 175, but he plays a lot like Fruit Cole, who's 5'9", 207.
Well, and that play was kind of curious. I expected a little bit different since Hardwick was under center. You know, maybe it was a quarterback sneak or I don't know, but again, he just handed it off, which obviously worked.
It was the exact same play as the third down play, as Hardwick was under center, just handed off to Peter Smith. And really the only time we've seen Hardwick under center all night were those two plays.
Yeah.
As it goes back to a standard shotgun formation here on first down from the McKinney North 38-yard line. Handoff. Peter Smith, left tackle. Colton Floyd makes the stop. Ball I thought was on the turf for a moment, but that might have been Peter Smith not giving up and fighting for some more yardage. About a 9-yard gain before Rodney Nelson brings him down along with Colt Floyd. Chris Williams around the area.
I hate to say this since they were off the field for so long with McKinney's drop, but it looks like they're getting worn out. I mean, watch this play next time, Monty, and you'll see just how much push this offensive line's getting. I mean, it's not healthy if you're a defensive player trying to stop them when they're already 3 yards down the field before you can even get close to touching them.
Well, it's been the Peter Smith show for about the past quarter and a half, and he's going to get the ball again, cutting out left side, dancing out past the first down marker to the 25-yard line. Another first down. And I think you're right. These McKinney North guys are slow getting off the turf. Colton Floyd really taking his time getting back.
Yeah, I mean, you see that push off the left side there. The tackle and guard were able to push their guys 3 yards downfield.
Smith has touched the football 7 out of 9 plays on this drive.
That's a horse. 7-2, McKinney North still leading here with 9:59 left to go in the fourth quarter. But it's 1st and 10, Forney at the McKinney North 25. Hardwick shotgun and whistles blow before this one can get underway. And there's enough time on the play clock, so it's not that.
Yeah, it's probably, again, illegal motion, illegal procedure. There's not a whole lot of other things that usually come in this situation since no one moved.
Chris Harlan checks in for Sam Kamani on this play here. It'll be 1st down and 15 for Forney with 9:50 left to go in the game.
It's like they're doing the McKinney North formula. Hey, let's get down deep and commit a penalty.
We'll go over some scores for you as soon as we get a chance right after this one. 1st down and 15, 9:46 left to go in the game. McKinney North leading 7-2. Handoff, Peter Smith to Forney, and another whistle and another flag before this one can get underway, and this one is against Forney again.
See? That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you mentioned those scores, Monty. It's so far, especially if this score can hold up, it looks good for McKinney this week, as Boyd yesterday picked up the 31-6 victory. Right now, McKinney leading Richardson just at the start of the fourth quarter, 28-0. So the Lions carrying their momentum over from last week's win. And then out in the other area, we're not sure how up-to-date these are, but we'll give you the latest we've got. Saxe and Centennial 7-7. Paris leads Little Elm 21-7. And West Mesquite 21-7 over Frisco.
So McKinney now has scored 54 unanswered points.
Hey, offense is working apparently.
1st down and 20. for Forney at the McKinney North 35. Hartwick throws a screen pass out to the left side. In trouble is Peter Smith, and he's in jail, and he goes to jail at the 38-yard line. A loss on the play of about 3 yards. Mike Scott, the cornerback, makes a terrific play as he comes up and then gets help from a lot of other McKinney North Bulldogs, including Colton Floyd. And it'll be second down and 22. They'll call it a 2-yard loss.
Well, I'm curious on that because there weren't any linemen pulling out to run the screen, so it looked like they were dependent on Peter to use his own skills. I might ask, why not just give him the ball in the backfield and let the lineman block for him? I mean, I know it's long distance, but the guy can do that in 3 plays.
Here comes Hartwick, fakes the end-around reverse, and he wants to run. Spins out of a tackle and barrels his way down to the 22-yard line. You wanted to see him run more, and he does there. Terrence Hicks makes the stop. A nice gain for the quarterback, Landon Hartwick, and he runs tough. He does. He runs like a fullback.
Yeah, you mentioned he's not fast earlier in the game, but I'm not sure he's a pretty runner either. I mean, that wasn't a...
Oh, he's an ugly runner.
Yeah, I mean, it's
no
not
doubt
fast.
about it.
He doesn't have skill, but here's the thing. Again, it goes back to being tough. Some of your best runners are the ugliest ones.
He is a tough runner. He will stiff-arm you down to the ground and maybe even spin out, but it's a slow, ugly spin, let me tell you. Here's Hartwick, hands off to Peter Smith, and he spins and looks pretty good, but he goes down right at the line of scrimmage by Rodney Nelson and company, and Peter Smith, who has pretty much dominated for Forney over the past quarter and a half, has really been stifled, I guess, a little bit over the past couple of plays anyway when he's touched the ball.
Well, in his last 3 carries, he has had a grand total of 15 yards, so still getting right at 15 yards a clip, of course. Now, he did lose a couple right there, but the kid's worn out a little bit. By the way, Forney, after that third down conversion, just 1 of 7 on third down here tonight.
4th down and 9 for Forney. Shotgun, not going to kick it. Hartwick throws out left side, and the ball falls incomplete. A great play on the backside. It was tremendous coverage back there, and I think that was Mike Scott.
Well, and you saw Hartwick kind of run downfield saying, hey, where's the penalty there? That was great coverage. Again, he got there right as the ball did.
Got to be happy with that. John Leidy's probably happy with that. John, down on the sidelines, go ahead and talk to us.
Hey, guys, the McKinney North offense is getting back on the field there after a great stand right there at the end by the defense. But I do have some bad news. Charles Fruit Cole's most likely going to be out for the rest of this game, and he says he looks forward to getting back to the district games in 2 weeks. So back up to y'all.
All right, well, we don't want to speculate on what the injury is, of course. You know, we might have Fruit Cole's grandparents listening or something, so we don't want to speculate on what it might be. But
well, you can tell, I mean, he's okay. He's down on the field, or not on the field, but on the sidelines moving around. So,
boy, Taylor Amadon there out on the right tackle position, apparently off a different page than everyone else. He got up and started blocking, and everyone else was down. So, not a good start. You've got to march 81 yards, and you start off at a 1st and 15. Now it's more like 86.
After the first down penalty, here's a handoff to Damon Pitts up the middle, and he scoots his way up maybe for about 2 or 3 yards. It'll be DeMarcus Lacey on the stop for Forney, but Pitts, they were really relying on Fruit a lot before he apparently got injured.
Well, and he left the game with 9 carries for 56 yards. He had touched the ball the first 5 plays of that last drive that McKinney North had the football. He's going to be sorely missed for this contest.
Sure, but the common denominator is still the offensive line because Damon Pitts came in and had some success as well, so just hope they keep it up. 2nd
down and 11. McKinney North wants to throw. David Douglas makes the catch at the 27, spins out of a tackle, down at the 30-yard line. Probably about a 7-yard gain for David Douglas. Justin Price, the cornerback, does make the stop, but David Douglas, not only is he does he have great hands and able to catch the ball, but he's one of those guys that's just hard to bring down. He doesn't go down very easy, kind of like a Terrell Owens type guy when he always makes the catch, and he always seems to rack up yards after the catch.
Well, the thing about him, he's not fast. He's really not that quick, but he's shifty. I mean, that's one of the most dangerous there is.
Kind of sly.
Yeah,
kind of sly. Shotgun, third down. Stanko wants to throw. Throws it out, David Douglas, and that one's almost intercepted. A nice play over there by the cornerback, Justin Price. But the pass just wasn't anywhere near David Douglas.
Well, it looked like him and Stanko weren't on the same page because Douglas was kind of running more of a comeback pattern, maybe an out, and Stanko was expecting kind of a button hook because he threw right where he made his pivot.
After going 5 of 5 in the first half, Stanko here in the second half, it's been a tough one. 1 of 6 through the air. Just that lone completion to Douglas a few seconds ago.
We haven't seen Chris Williams at quarterback at all tonight. He only last week had one pass, and he completed that one. Here's David Douglas, and boots this one away, and this was more like the first one, not quite as dramatic, but then the roll is, as this one's going to roll all the way inside the 20, down to the 17-yard line. So what, David Douglas, you get a great one, you get a bad one, and maybe a great one.
53 yards on that punt right there.
And another one with great hang time. Some more flags on the ground in the Forney side of the, actually on the McKinney North side of the territory.
Curious to what this is going to be. Since there wasn't a return, we're not going to see a return type penalty of a hold or a block in the back. This is likely to be a big one depending on which way it goes.
Well, it's at the Forney 37-yard line. It is against Forney.
These teams are doing the best they can both sides. And, I hate to say it, but it's fairly blunt. North is not doing their efficient play, and at the same time, here in this situation, Forney's doing all that. A 15-yard penalty when you're under halfway through the last quarter, and you put yourself even it's not going to be 15, it's going to be half to the guard to the goal, but still, the same principle applies. Now you're looking at a 90-yard drive to try to come up with either, it's going to have to be the game-winning points because there's not a 5-point score, but,
Well, here we are with 5:20 left to go in this football game. McKinney North leading 7-2. Forney has yet to do anything on offense as far as putting the ball in the end zone. But here's Peter Smith, who's had a big night running the football, and he gains 3 on first down. Forney from their own 10-yard or 8-yard line, rather. And Colton Floyd makes the stop. So still deep in their own territory. Forney needing a big push here. They have yet, like I said, both teams have really shot themselves in the foot. Forney may be the most. They haven't even put points on the board.
Well, their shot themselves in the foot happened to be when they nailed the punt at the 6-yard line. It's hard to hurt yourself in that situation.
Hardwick in shotgun formation, and whistles blow before this one can get underway. And, Jay, how many penalties is that?
Well, for Forney, that will be penalty number 10. And assuming, of course, it's half the distance to the goal, that is going to be 10 penalties for a grand total of 55 yards. As for McKinney North, 8 penalties for 85 yards tonight.
18 penalties in this football game.
And 4 penalties have been waived off or negated.
22 flags have been thrown.
And that doesn't count turnovers, it's just been a mistake-filled game.
You know how hard that makes that on a statistician.
It makes it, yeah.
We just needed to keep you warm for the district schedule.
How hard would it make on a coach that loses this football game?
Man, wouldn't want to be in the locker room.
4:21 left to go in the game. McKinney North leading here 7-2 at Ron Post Stadium. Timeout has been called. We'll take 1-2. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Second down and 12, and Peter Smith will get the handoff, running right tackle, and he's going to be gang tackled by McKinney North. Josh Washington and company make a great stand right there. It'll bring up third down and 11 for Forney, and this is a big third down.
Absolutely, because you don't know how many more chances you're going to get, because the North offensive line, in spurts, if you will, but they've been able to put stretches where they dominate, and that's all you need right now. But I tell you that, again, it goes back to defeating yourself, because here's the thing. They can pick up 11 or 12 yards. It's a little different when you have to do it on a third down.
Peter Smith has touched the football 13 of Forney's last 16 snaps.
Wow. Third down and 11. Will they get the ball here? Hardwick throws out left side and falls incomplete. Another pass that probably could have been caught. Chris Williams. It may have been Chris Williams' footsteps that caused Tyler McElveen to drop the ball because Williams was right on his back. That'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, and if there's one thing you can probably tell about me, I'll give the receivers a little bit more, I guess, forgiveness, if you will, than most people will, but not on that play. You have to come down with that one. And I'm going to tell you, I'm glad he didn't. Obviously, I'm not rooting for North here, but maybe the secondary dodged a bullet. Hey, let's hope he kneels it here.
Here's Atterbury in the end zone. That stands about 5 yards deep. Going to punt this one away. Player coming in late for Forney has to get on the line in a hurry. There's 2 seconds left on the play clock. They get it off. And Atterbury gets the punt off. It's a high punt, goes off the side of his foot, and this is going to be tremendous for McKinney North. Bounces at the 20 and bounces towards that south end zone and it's actually going to be placed at the 18-yard line. The ball's not even where they would have gotten a first down at.
Wouldn't have gotten a first down. That's about a 10-yard punt again. Monty, I'm going to tell you, North dodged a bullet there. That should have been a delay of game because the clock, we had a clear view because the clock is right between us and where the play was, or not between. The play was between us, but that clock clicked down at 0 because of the late substitution, so we dodged a bullet there.
Officially a 9.5-yard punt.
There's no half.
Oh, we've seen some crazy penalties. We've seen 22 penalties, 18 which have counted. We've seen an 11-yard punt and a 9-yard punt.
And a 53 and a 52-yard punt.
Hey, are you bringing Oklahoma football here? What are you doing, Jay? Here's Stanko, handoff up the middle. Damon Pitts fighting for more yardage, gains about 6, and that's what McKinney North is going to want to do here is try to get every inch and get in that end zone to give them some breathing room in this game. Lucas Lane makes the stop for Forney.
Monty, this brings up a valid question. You remember last time they were about to punt, you said, hey, I would just keep it with Hartwick. Brings up. He kneeled the ball at the 6, allowed North to score. Now this punt puts them inside the 20. I got to agree with you. Hey, just keep quick kicking. Why stop what works? He's punted the ball 3 times, and there hasn't been one this bad.
2:41 and rolling here in the 4th. McKinney North leading 7-2 with the ball at the Forney 12-yard line. Shotgun. Handoff Damon Pitts, right tackle. A little crease for a moment. And he will be close to the first down at about the 9-yard line. Again, Lucas Lane makes a stop. John Leidy down on the sidelines. John, let's see what you got going on down there. Talk to us real quick. And John is right on the line. There he is. John, go ahead and talk to us.
Stop. Actually, Coach Pratt visited with the offensive lineman while the defense was on the field, and he wanted the offensive line to be aggressive, get their pad level down, be the dominant group like there. Don't be here or there. Be there at the moment that needs to be there. Back up to y'all.
Okay. Neither here nor there is
But
McKinney North. A minute 55 left. Here's Damon Pitts. Handoff up the middle, pushing the pile to the about the 6-yard line. Enough for the first down. And Kenneth Parker makes the stop for Forney. $1:49 left to go here in this game. It looks like McKinney North. Let's cross our fingers. It looks like
it ain't done till it's done. The way this game's going.
It looks like this one might hold up. We'll see. And I tell you, once again, let's bring up if McKinney North wins, they're at 500 as a program, and that's something to be said for 6 years in a brand new program.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. And they've had a lot of success in the past few years, which tells you just how much non-success they had earlier.
And John tells me he wants more airtime down there. Damon Pitts fighting for more yardage, fighting for the touchdown mark, and he's not going to get it. He's at the 1-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and goal as Trevin Marcus makes a stop.
Got to tell John if he wants to get on more, he can't say things like, don't be here or there, be here. I don't know, be there.
Well, the great thing about this, though, is McKinney North is able to really run out the clock here and take this victory home.
All right, we're going to have to go ahead to John after this play. We'll because McKinney North is lining up here. 2nd down and goal. And it's Damon Pitts in the backfield, Vince Stanko in shotgun formation. Moves Pitts to the left. And this is going to be Pitts diving over the top and into the end zone. It's touchdown time in Texas for McKinney North with 38 seconds left to go in this football game. And that brings our score 13-2 awaiting the PAT.
Now I feel comfortable.
And now I feel pretty comfortable kicking it down to John Leidy. John, talk to us real quick.
Monty, I didn't want you to speak too early there. You kind of jinxed McKinney last week with that extra point kick. You almost jinxed McKinney North Bulldogs here with the touchdown. But good news for you. Touchdown Bulldogs.
All right. You know, John even working on his touchdown call there. you know, John may be doing play-by-play next week, you know.
Well, he's trying to stab you in the back as hard as he can.
There's an extra point by Stephen Meyer, which brings our happy score at Ron Post Stadium, 14-2. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker along with the rest of the crew. Real quick, Jay, how about an American Bank of Texas scoring drive recap?
5 plays, 2 minutes and 44 seconds ran off the clock. 12 yards total. Of course, a 1-yard touchdown run by Damon Pitts. Get this, guys, the 2 scoring drives tonight. A grand total of 18 yards of offense.
Well, Matt had most of it right there.
On a night with 22 some odd penalties, it has been that kind of night for both teams.
Quick kick on the kickoff, then do the pooch thing.
It's going to be taken by Lowry at the 6-yard line, coming up the backside. Wants to throw the football back, lateral it back, and he does, and Lowry has to pick it back up. I believe it was actually initially it was Justin Price who had caught the ball, ran up, trying to lateral it back, and the ball fell on the turf, and then Chad Lowry picked it up, and it was horrible for Forney because now they have the ball at their own 6-yard line.
Well, it was weird for, first off, 2 reasons. Price did the lateral. He didn't tell his teammates he was going to do that, apparently, because no one was expecting it. Then it was picked up. The guy ran backwards. He kept running backwards.
We want to, real quick, talk about our Tutoring Club Scholar Athlete of the Week. This week it is Brady Vaughn. Brady is a senior varsity golfer on the boys' golf team. On Tuesday, September 4th, 07 at Stonebridge Classic Golf Tournament, a one-day 36-hole tournament held at Stonebridge Country Club. Brady was the champion medalist, shooting rounds of 69-74 to finish 1 under par at 143. Brady was the only golfer out of 85 that finished under par. He beat a strong field consisting of some Division I prospects as we get back to the game here.
Interception.
And it is intercepted.
By some people, by some people's
Colton
opinion,
Floyd has the ball.
Best player of the team.
Colton Floyd does have the ball, and I tell you what, he robbed Brady Vaughn of some glory there as we get back. Hey, let's just say, yes, Colton Floyd's a great player. He made a great play right there, probably sealed the game.
Yeah.
But Brady Vaughn is our Tutoring Club Scholar Athlete of the Week. So thanks to the Tutoring Club.
Yeah, absolutely. They're great folks, do some great things. Real quick, what happened on that play, Hartwick went back to pass, threw it over the middle, Colt 45 jumped in front of it.
There you go, Colt 45. And because of Colt 45 and the entire defense, Vince Stanko is able to drop back and take a knee. And with 9 seconds and counting, this ball game's over. And hey, McKinney North, you're at 500, 28-28, and Sean Pratt is at 500. Congratulations to everyone who is a part of this program because it's come a long way since first couple of years. Sean Pratt has fought through a lot of losses the first couple of years, and John Leidy can tell you about a lot of those. But
that's why they dumped him.
This program has come a long way. So.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm lucky. I jumped on the bandwagon right as they got good. They weren't expected to do anything my first year covering the team, and that's when they made their playoff run, beat Hillcrest, the first by-district playoff game they ever had. So I've known nothing but winning, so it's hard for me to picture a losing North team.
We've got to talk about, we got to come up with a Torchmark Corporation Player of the Game.
Give it to the Zebras. They had a lot of arm action tonight with the penalty flags.
They're not
going.
Players, technically.
And we can't give it to Forney's punter, can we?
Well, that did.
Well, we'll talk about that.
We'll
give it to him. We'll talk about that. Give it to a McKinney North player. And also later on in the postgame show, we'll have the Money Player of the Game, sponsored by Anchor Credit Loan. So don't go anywhere. Listen for the Anchor Credit Loan Money Play of the Game coming up in the postgame show. So we'll try to have some players down there, and Coach Pratt talk with John Leidy here in just a moment. We'll try to find John.
45-yard line. Hey, look at him. He's vulturing over that kind of a mass of McKinney North players. He's ready.
How about the while John's down there trying to figure out who he's going to interview, and I'll tell you what, let's tell him who we want interviewed.
Well, I think a good choice would be David Douglas. Punted fairly well, caught the first touchdown, which unfortunately then we didn't know it to be a go-ahead touchdown.
We'd like to hear about David Douglas's 52 and 53-yard punts. How about that? Not only his receiving.
Well, let's not talk about the other one.
We won't bring up the 11-yarder. But, we'll try to get David Douglas. We'll try to, look on the defensive side of the ball. Some guys who made some big plays tonight. Zach Gagnon, he was out there and came up with some pretty big plays. So number 36, Zach Gagnon, and number 18, David Douglas, as we can try to get John down there. The McKinney North Bulldogs are having a little talk from Coach Pratt, who's probably talking a little bit about penalties right now, and maybe we can listen in on that as John Leidy's down there right in the middle of it, and we'll see if John can actually get his mic somewhere in there. And now they're up. Coach Pratt just finished, and maybe he'll grab somebody here. Normally they go through their routine of course, the school song and all of that stuff, so we'll see how long it takes John to get ready with some of these guys. John, I think Coach Pratt's standing right behind you.
I think he may be in the chant.
And the McKinney North Bulldogs are doing their warm-ups or jumping jacks, whatever they do, and here's John Leidy down on the sidelines.
Recently with this close game like this, what has your team told you tonight with this victory?
Well, I tell you what, our defense showed a lot of character tonight, and I thought they did a great job of hanging in there and staying with them. They were there in the end, the second half. They were on their field for some long drives, and boy, they showed some great character and kept us in the ball game all night. And we sputtered offensively, but right there we stuck it in when we had to, and just really proud of our kids.
And you're heading into the bye week next week. I know those penalties were an issue, and I know that's your team's very disciplined, and I know that's got to be a key coming into this next week.
Well, sure, we've got to fix some of those things, but the bottom line is this: we've got a couple weeks to work on that, and we got through our pre-district, what we call our first season, 3-0. Very proud of how hard our kids are playing. Our effort's great. We've still got plenty to work on, but very proud of our kids. I think our coaches did a great job, had a great plan defensively, and the kids just played their hearts out.
We're going to say thank you, and McKinney North does have a bye week next week, so we'll see you in about 2 weeks, Coach.
All right, John, thank you very much. You might run over there and tell Coach Pratt congratulations at being 500 as a program. I know you were a part of some of this. I think you left when it was 7-13, so no thanks to you, John. But, hey, this program's back to 500.
Boy, he just shot you a look. You know what? Coach Pratt did bring up a very good point. The defense was on the field an awful lot. They were on the field a lot the first half, but I talked about it looked like they might be getting worn down, but they ended up buckling down in the end. That bend don't break that John mentioned at halftime, that's exactly what happened. So, good point. The defense should be proud.
Well, it's a very happy McKinney North group on the track with the cheerleaders, with the school song, and yelling at those people that you hear. That's McKinney North team.
Yeah, they should be happy, but at the same time, they need to work on some things too.
That's your McKinney North Bulldogs making all that noise down there. And now John Leidy going to try to make some noise and gather Zach Gagnon and David Douglas are, well, how about both of them? Our Torchmark Corporation star of the game, both of them. Well, right now, Taylor Douthit is down with John Leidy, and we'll see what Taylor Douthit has to say.
We got Mr. Douthit here, the center for the McKinney North Bulldogs. He is waving to the crowd, and he does say hi to Mom back home. But also, you got to Coach Pratt was real happy with the offensive line, telling y'all, get down, push, push, push.
Sorry, what?
The offensive line. Tell us about the offensive line. Get down, push, and be in the heart of the team on the offense there.
Well, we know this defensive line was going to play really low. They go for our knees a lot, so we worked really hard this week, and we just got down, got underneath them, and just got after that butt. This was a really great week for us. We took it up another level.
Can you elaborate on that last drive right there where you scored the touchdown that actually went ahead and kind of put it out of reach for Forney?
Oh, baby, that was all hard. That was all mental. We tell each other every day that it's a mentality that when it comes to situations like that, we just need to punch it in.
Okay, well, thank you. Now we're going to move to the defensive side of the ball. We got Zach Gagnon down here, who played a key role in tonight's victory with all the tackles and all the batted down passes and everything. Can you elaborate on how it felt to be in a close game like this?
Just felt great. It was a real great test for us. Forney's a heck of a team. They played their hearts out, and we were lucky to come away with a victory. And, we kept just punching away, shutting them out. And, offense got it started for us, gave us a little bit of time. We just kept hitting them, and we got the game in lock, man.
Would Coach Kenny Duck's motto, bend, not break, very stand tonight?
Yes, sir, it was. We stayed strong, had on the field a lot, but, just got to keep going, find that extra energy in you, dig deep, practice. You know what I'm talking about, man. Just get it done. That's our motto. It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Well, thank you. We've enjoyed talking to you and hope to see more of you in the future.
Yes, sir.
Have a great evening. Back up to y'all.
Well, John, we have David Douglas down there, and as soon as Rodney Williams gets through talking to David Douglas, go ahead and grab him if you can. In the meantime, Brandon, not a great performance on the field, but a win.
Well, and the more I think about it, you're right, it is a win. It wasn't definitely not a great performance by the offense. We expect better. I mean, we've seen this team even this year do a lot better. But, the more I think about it, the more the defense really did a lot. I mean, they were put behind the 8 ball in some situations, kind of wore down a little bit, but they really did well.
All right, here's John Leidy with David Douglas.
I'm down here with David Douglas, the wide receiver from McKinney North Bulldogs. At the time, we didn't know it was the winning touchdown score there, but it turned out to be.
All right, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I'm sorry. Mr. Colton Floyd stepped up here. You had what at the time didn't appear to be the winning touchdown, but turned out to be the winning touchdown there right before halftime.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big touchdown. I mean, once again, I got him on a slant route, and Vince just put the ball right there for me. So, I mean, it's a big play, and, I mean, that gave us a little bit of momentum. And, I mean, both defenses played a great games. I mean, we got to hand it to them. They played a great game.
Now, I know you're a guy that doesn't like to be in the spotlight all much. You kind of stay back and give to your teammates. But I do have to recognize you on one thing. Last week, we're going to kind of go back to last week, you became the career touchdown and also career receiving yards for McKinney North. You took over Colin Beto's record. How does that feel?
I mean, it feels good. I mean, I can remember coming watching him play, and, I mean, he was just a great receiver. I mean, I'm really happy, and I feel very good about that because, I mean, like I said, he was a great receiver, and he's doing great things right now.
Well, I know the Arizona Wildcats coaches got to be impressed in what they're seeing. Have a great day. Have a great evening, and we'll look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. Back up to y'all.
All right, thanks very much, John Leidy, and that will wrap up or conclude our player interviews from down on the field. And I'll tell you what, there's some good kids at McKinney North.
Yeah, I love the fact that he got Tyler, the center.
Taylor.
Yeah, because, I mean, that illustrated what I was talking about. That's just, hey, you know what, I made a mistake, whatever, then go out and do it again, it'll be just fine. I mean, that's exactly what you want out of your lineman because –
and he doesn't turn into Chuck Knobloch. I mean, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I kind of laughed when you said that. I think you're more doing that for shock value or giving something to talk about. I mean, because that's the guy's like, you know what, my bad. Hey, I won't do it again, you guys.
Yeah, Taylor Douthit has made at least 5,000 snaps back to the quarterback, including practice and everything else. I mean,
absolutely.
You're allowed one every once in a while.
Sure,
so,
and in a situation where it matters, it ended up hurting. But you know what? Hey, defense pitched a shutout.
In the end, it didn't hurt them. To be honest with you, 14-2, the final score, and you're right. The defense pitched a shutout, and here we are again. The defense actually still has given up 13 points this year.
Yeah, I mean that's fantastic.
It's going to show 15, but.
Yeah, well, they didn't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is, but it goes back to, hey, you know what? They beat themselves more than Forney did. I mean, down to penalties, down to the scoreboard even, they hurt themselves more than Forney did.
It's unbelievable. We talk about last year and how great they were last year and this and that, and they were a tremendous football team. We talked about their defense and how improved it was, and it was just a tremendous defense last year for McKinney North. How in the world is this defense better than last year? But it is. Statistically, it is a better defense.
Well, I can tell you, look at the linebackers. Those two, are key guys, Rodney Nelson and Colton Floyd.
And maybe that is one side of the football. They didn't lose so many people. The offense, they obviously lost all of their skill receivers and talent and running back and that kind of thing. But defensively, they
they're better than they were last year.
Talk about the defense. Any defense, if you got a solid linebacking core, you're going to have a solid defense. I mean, it really goes down to them. And then you add on the secondary on top of it, who has played really well in pass defense, and you add the defensive line for their run defense. It's not bad.
Well, you think you talk about the linebackers, and you would think Colton Floyd might be the leading tackler on the team. Oh no, Rodney Nelson, his counterpart, the other linebacker over there, the leading tackler coming into tonight's game, and we called Rodney Nelson's name a lot tonight. So
yeah,
we'll see how it comes out in the defensive stats, but regardless, the biggest thing that comes out tonight is a win for McKinney North.
If these two guys aren't on the all-district team in some form or fashion, I'm going to be surprised.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to take a quick timeout. McKinney North wins tonight 14-2 at Ron Post Stadium. Back in a moment. We'll have some highlights, some stats, and everything else on 97.5 KLAK.